Hey,
Hey, Wooly, happy Easter.
happy Easter.
Just kidding, I wasn't really dead. I'm back from the dead. I'm alive. It's me, Jesus. I got you. April Fools.
Easter's fools.
Got him.
Easter's fools. Is that everybody who believes?
Oh, my
no!
God.
That is starting nuclear.
No!
Starting nuclear.
You can't start there. Can't do it. No, come on.
The first prankster. The first prankster. Jesus, he never, he stayed dead, and everyone was like, "Damn, he came back. That's crazy." April Fool. Oh yeah.
Guy showed up to a party with some booze, and everybody went, "Wow, cool! Holy hell! Oh my goodness!"
Alrighty.
Thanks, J Bro. I don't like that. I shouldn't have said that. J Bro sounds awful. That sounds like a whole different thing. Sounds like a very awful different thing.
Yeah. No. Don't trivialize it or say, "Thanks, Jesus, for taking one for the team." Apparently,
He did take one for the team. That's like the whole deal.
He did, but when Travis Kelce tweeted that out 10 years ago, a whole lot of people got very upset at the levity with which he was taking the situation. Anyway, yeah.
Let's focus on the actual important J person today. The Joker from Balatro, and why isn't it on my phone right now? Why is it on not my phone? Why isn't it on my fucking phone?
I hear the music all day. All day in my head. You're fucking, there you go. You played, you're in.
Wooly, I bought this 2 days ago, and I have 11 and a half hours into it.
Yeah, you do.
I've gotten to ante 12 with 2 decks.
There you go. Yes. What? Okay.
So I went on to Twitter and just started screaming, "Why Balatro not on phone?" And the response was, "They're working on it."
So I already looked on my own to see if I could get it on my phone, to which I found a bunch of fucking scum copy things called like Balatro Tips, and it's just some game that has the assets of Balatro, and you can just buy it and it looks like it. It's just, we're trying to confuse you into thinking you're buying a mobile version of this game that you're not. So
this is the most money on the table port I could ever have seen in the history of my entire career covering video games. Like, we were complaining about, oh, why isn't Unicorn Overlord on the PC? No, this guy can buy a solid gold house, put the fucking Balatro on my mobile phone.
Isn't it really fun? Isn't it really fun? So yeah, last night I think I cleared all the I cleared all the base decks.
That's I have found some of them to be a million times easier than others.
Oh, for sure, right? So there's all the base decks and the colored decks, and then I cleared all the base decks and all the unlockable without upping to the second difficulty.
Yeah, because the second difficulty says no reward on small blind. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not gonna touch that for a little bit.
But yeah, just creating builds is so much fun. Hell yeah. So what's your clear amount looking like?
The two decks that I cleared with were the yellow and the black.
Okay.
The yellow one was easy. Like, it was so easy, starting with $10 extra.
Yeah.
And then I just re-rolled it. You know, I was learning the ropes, and then I just re-rolled it until I got one of the multiplicative dollar amount jokers as the first turn, the rocket ship.
Oh,
it's like, hey.
Oh, where you keep getting, yeah. Okay, hold on. So you just started and quit until you got.
No. I played, and then I would get to like I do the first the first blind and then the big blind, and then I'd be like, I'm really unhappy with what I have here because I'm starting with $10 extra. I don't even have anything I want to buy.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then I started a run in which I got a holographic, which is plus 10 multiplayer.
Hell yeah.
Multiplier, rocket ship, which every single round gives you more and more money, and I closed out that at like $180 at Ante 12, and I got the goddamn Joker that gives you extra chips for every goddamn a dollar you have.
Oh, that one's
just
yeah,
sitting
rocket
around,
ship.
and just started multiplying, and I got way up there, and then ever since then I haven't been able to, like, I squeaked out a black deck win.
Okay.
But like
Black deck was hard. Yeah, that was an extra Joker slot. But
black deck is feast or famine. Like, did you get I got the one that I won, I got black deck and a negative Joker. So I had 7 Jokers.
Yeah, that works.
Which is like, okay, well, I'm going to win this one. I'm going to win it.
Having a whole bunch of money without rocket ship ends up biting you in the ass, though, because if you invest in a high cash, like, hand, a build early on, it feels as if there's not as many opportunities to capitalize, you know? The feeling you want to be going into the last bit blind with is like, I have more money than I need, and I can afford to re-roll and waste my cash before doing the final boss, you know?
So we talked about Balatro last week, and Wooly, you described it as you cheating with Jokers and you're playing cards. It's solitaire. I should send my dad this fucking game. Like, my dad plays regular ass solitaire all the time.
So much more fun.
So I want to take a different route, and that different route is Balatro is so good that it has taught me how all card games actually work. I played Slay the Spire, and there was like a long series of shit. I'm like, why would I not pick up a card? I beat the stage, I get a card, I have more card, better thing. And just, that's like that's the one we talked about on the cast.
More card power, more good.
There's like a million different variations of just some kind of mental pothole that I would fall into with the card game. And then I got to, I forget the name of all the Jokers. They're really hard to remember because they're all very similar looking.
But which ability?
I got to the ability, which is adds a multiplier for every card underneath 52 you have. Yeah.
So yes, like I was imagining, because like there's without that card, there's still a benefit to having, let's say, a deck where I'm like, I'm going to delete all my clubs because clubs are the least valuable of what I have here, right? Like I've turned my, like, there's a lot of those weird powers you get with spectral cards and stuff where you're like, I'm gonna decrease the amount of clubs in the deck and thus increase the amount of other things. So deleting cards actually has an advantage. But in addition to that, you can get a Joker that says the more cards you delete, the more powerful your deck is. Period. 1-to-1.
That was the end game win for my yellow deck, in which I got down to something like 45 cards and just it ran. But then the next time it actually like clicked into my brain is I was playing with the black deck, and I got one of the spectral cards that turned every single it turned, like, you know, you go to the tarot thing and it lines up like 8 cards. And they were all hearts, diamonds, and clubs. And I clicked on it, and it turned every single one of those into spades.
Yes.
And suddenly, I went from having an even split to having like 20 spades.
Exactly.
And then the rest. And then after like 2 more arcana and like a couple things, I'm rounding out the gate with 35 spades in my deck. It is impossible for me to not get a flush on every hand.
And you are being an idiot if you do not try to.
Every time I can, I'm like, I'm destroying a heart, or I'm destroying a diamond or a club.
Yes. So all it is so this game pronounces the advantage of deleting cards in a really exaggerated way. And every version of this is just more subtle. Right?
Yeah.
It's just from here all the way back to the normal 52 deck. It's just a more subtle chance of increasing your odds, right?
It's so smart, because all these Jokers are representing, like, some of them are good and some of them are bad, right? But all of them represent an idea of how you could try and run it. Like, there's one that's like replays 2, 3, 4s, and 5s. It's like, if I have anything that if I have the card that causes a multiplier on 4s and 10s, Yeah, I'm gonna fill up my fucking deck with 4s, which are usually garbage.
10-4.
But now they're multiplying on each other.
10-4 walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So the interesting thing too is, I don't know if have you started using the LT button, where you pull up the short readout of like how many cards are left? That thing is.
Yeah, I'm using it because I'm holding the baby.
Okay.
So I'm using the mouse.
Using the mouse.
So
okay.
You just click down there.
So
yeah, no, I'm starting to look at it and I'm starting to see. Okay, I really want a 4 of a kind with a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 10s, and this is my last discard. How many other cards are still left in my deck? A ton. Ooh.
Yes.
I don't know.
And a common thing that happens is you'll be like 2 cards away from a straight, but also 2 cards away from a flush. And you're like, ooh, which one do I go for? And you're like, they're both even leveled, so they'll both, like the flush will net a higher points than the straight, but there's still a decent chance of getting both. What do I go for, right? You pull up the menu and you see I have more hearts left, and I need another heart to get a flush here, and I have more of those left than I have 7s.
Yeah.
Which are what I need for the next straight. So you just do a little quick math and you go, yeah, I have a better odds of getting a heart. Let me just go for that instead, And then you get into the situation in which you're looking at, and you're like, oh, the flush would be really great here, or I have a potential for like a royal flush. Yeah.
Right? Because I have 4 of the 5. And then I look in and it's like, oh, that's right. This is the deck that I have 9 jokers in. Sorry,
right.
9 jacks. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a pretty decent chance. It's like a 50-50 shot a jack is going to show up. So there's all that part of it. But then there's the last part of it, the part that I never internalized playing any other card game ever in my whole life, which Balatro I got instantly, which is my question of when I would stream it or talk about it to people is like, well, how do I know if small deck better? And then people would say, well, learn it. I'm like, what do you mean exactly? Just do it over and over. And then I'm playing Balatro, and I'm like making decks and builds and doing it on the fly. I'm not having a problem. Like, why is it so different? It's like, oh, I know why. I know how a poker deck fucking works. I know
a regular
every
deck
single
of cards
card in a poker deck. I know what every hand in a poker deck is.
Yes. Your brain gets it already. Totally.
I've known it like since I was like 6 years old.
So with that knowledge now, when you grab something like, so there's something you'll unlock called the Abandoned deck, right? And that's one of the unlockable decks that is all the full deck with no face cards in it by default. It has none. So
so what do you get out of it?
So you get the ability to make all of your plays without face cards, and you have there's a higher chance of the thing you're looking for showing up more often.
Yeah.
Because there's less, there's less face in general. There's a tighter net for for that. And then if you get a card that says there's a card that's like will increase the multiplier with the amount of hands you play without a face card in it.
Oh yeah, then you
now you have a deck incapable of playing face cards. That's free money. And shit like that you'll start to see like the odds are pre-increased with just rolling with this deck. It's great. Last night I got I got a clear with which one was it? I was using the the ghost deck is the one that you get spectral cards in the shop, and that thing's just busted. It's incredible. You can buy a spectral card and put it in the top right and use it whenever you need to. So you can literally I'll be on my last hand where I'm like, I'm not going to win. This is game over. And then I have a spectral card that says turn everything into the same
do some stupid game breaking shit
into the same rank, and it's like, oh yeah, that dead hand is now a 5 of a kind, and then 5 of a kind, a thing that's not on the list will show up, or what was the other one?
I got one today that I had never heard of, which was like a royal house.
Flush house. You can get a flush house, which makes no sense
that's
otherwise.
Not a real poker hand.
Yeah, exactly. And like that, and like you see it pop up, and then and as soon as you unlock once, you start to
Yeah,
see,
now it's there.
and planet cards for a flush house will start popping up in the decks, in the packs as well. You know, you'll start to, and then there's different, so many different ways to like work your build out. You know, I was ignoring, I was spending money on stuff besides vouchers for a lot of, you know, the time, and like seeing now the power of like double vouchers and stuff like that, where you can just grab something that's like, yeah, permanently increase your hand, double down on whatever skip blind you're about to get ability. You know, you can lean into cash, you can lean into planet cards, tarot, everything you choose to lean
I had a
into.
run in which I was just like, hey man, 3 of the kind is going to fucking space.
Yeah. OP, whatever you choose to make OP is viable. One of the easiest things I find is, like, of all the hands you can make, I find getting, because, and here's an aspect of Balatro that is not not actually math, but it seems as if the starting hand you get in a round is not random, right? It feels as if there's a split distribution that tends to favor giving you a couple of a couple of pairs for each number, and then it go, and like even if your hand increases, you'll see a bunch of 2 pairs popping up. So because of the game's like algorithm that pushes for 2 pairs showing up more often, it gets easy to get 2 pairs. So if you max out 2 pairs and then put a bunch of stone cards in your deck.
Are you sure that's not just like confirmation bias?
I've played a lot of the game at this point. It feels like the opening hand you get in a round is aggressively like hand-picked. There's a certain style of opening hand that they want you to have, and it's not completely random in that sense. It's controlled random, you know? And so you get a bunch of, it's biased in a way. And so you get a bunch of 2 pairs fairly easily, and you throw a stone card with that, and you're like, that card that would otherwise be worth nothing is
now it's adding into it. Hey.
Yeah. And then the other thing, of course, is if you get the winning fucking unstoppable god to your combination, that is, every card you play counts for points. Shortcut, which lets you create a straight by skipping over 1 number.
Can you skip over 1 number? Like, can you do like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
That's free.
It's insanely free.
That's free, man.
Right? So you go shortcut 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 4, 5, 6,
9,
8,
10,
9. Yeah, whatever. You can skip 1 or 2. It's fine. It's insanely busted. You get that. You get the thing that makes it so that all 5 of your cards count no matter what, and then you get up to 4 cards. Like 4 cards will still count as a flush or a straight. Right? It doesn't matter if you don't have the 5th card. If you have 4 of the same kind of the same type, or if you have a lineup of 4 cards, that'll count for the full points. And those 3 in congruence, you're not going to lose. Like, it's fucking insane, you know? So that's one build I hunt for constantly. It's unstoppable.
Like, I remember I got a card that was like, all cards are face cards.
Yes, they count as face cards, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is the point of that? And then I got the Joker that's scary face, which is all face cards give plus 30 chips when they're scored.
Bam.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And you're going great. You're killing it. You're doing amazingly well. And then you get to a big blind that is all face cards don't count.
And you're dead.
And well, you are, unless I've learned, because I've had the run killer, that exact run kill has happened to me a bunch of times. And then you go, well, now I have to sell that Joker right now.
Oh, right.
And in the middle of the boss
off.
fight, you set in the boss blind. You
know what's funny?
You sell that.
I would have probably figured that out because there's a boss blind that's like all cards are diffused until you sell a Joker.
Yeah, there you go.
So it teaches you, hey, sometimes you might have to sell a Joker to turn a mechanic off.
Exactly. Sometimes if the boss blind is asking you for way too much, you sell one of your Jokers, which is fucked because that's a really big advantage, you know? But in that case, it's the only way to survive. Another one that's fucked is an amazing card is all hearts and diamonds count together and all clubs and spades count together.
That's so gross. You can't do that.
It's so strong, and it feels great as you just grab a royal flush made out of two types.
Oh, that's too good.
It's so good, and then you hit a boss blind that says, all spades are debuffed, and it's like, hey, your clubs also count as spades now, so those are debuffed too. All your wild cards debuffed, because if it counts partially as a spade, it's no good. And then you're like, fuck me, I have to sell this amazing card. And it's the one that I happen to put a multiplier on that's holographic. You know?
Yeah.
There's so many fucking like amazing builds that then come back to bite you in the ass. And that's why the slots at the top right are your insurance in some cases. You know?
Have you gotten the Cavendish?
Which one's that?
So there's the Gros Michel, which is the banana.
Yeah.
Well, if the banana dies in your run, you get the ability to buy the Cavendish, which is the good banana.
Oh, interesting. No, I haven't, because I usually ignore Gros Michel.
Okay, so the good banana, the Cavendish, has a 1 in 1,000 chance of being destroyed at the end of the round. But instead of giving a +15 multiplier, it gives a ×3 multiplier.
×3. That's so much better. Yeah. Anything that is a times multiplier, just lean heavy into that. There's your win.
So I found that I'm at the place where I'm like, okay, if I get a good run and I know what I'm doing, I can get to ante 8. Mm-hmm. I'm still working on the base decks, but I can do it. But it's very clear, it's very obvious that for ante 9 and up, you need to move your whole game plan into multiplying. Like times multiplication.
Yeah.
Because I need multiplying on top of multiplying on top of multiplying. Because I looked at those numbers. I have never seen a game use scientific notation for its score with the exponents.
The exponents. Okay. So because I haven't. So I've done all my clears at ante 8. The reset and ante thing. I've only done that like once. You know. It does let you power up quite a bit. I did notice but I just never fucked with it. I was always clearing it on ante 8. And
I did. And listen, I got to 12 with my good yellow deck, and then it started to get into the millions of points.
Right.
And I'm like, I clearly need to do more math to figure that out.
What I usually do is once I clear it and I'm in endless mode, I'll just start skipping straight to the boss blind until I die, because I want to because I want to unlock more. So I'm down to kill the run and start a new progression point. But if it's not clear, Balatro is fucking it's very addictive. It is very fun.
And it's so good that it's making me want to play Slay the Spire on my phone because I understand Slay the Spire way better now.
And it's the thing about it too, that's again, it's a very deliberate choice, but it's so like muted as a video game, you know? Like,
it's CRT themed. It runs at 720p,
and like the little Joker just talks a little bit of trash to you, but ultimately there's not much else to it because it's basically like you're playing a video poker screen with a little bit of character to it. You know?
I'm getting information now that Malevelon Creek has finally been liberated.
Oh shit!
From the bots.
Okay. So does that mean?
Good job, Helldivers. You fucked up your major order yesterday, but.
So does that mean that there's no freeing Trent or whatever the fuck
Tibus or whatever?
Tiber.
So what happened is that they did the major order to push back against the bots, but so many, like 25% of all players are obsessed with Malevelon Creek, and so they didn't focus enough on the actual objectives and failed the objectives.
So nobody gets their points.
So now Joel is tilting to be like, oh, we have to take back the creek.
Okay, so something that is maybe I was looking through for instructions on it, but when the major order is to free a planet that you can't select, is that because you have to get to it from the planet next to it?
No, it means that you have to fully liberate the planet to its direct border, or it already got liberated, and so it's over.
Okay. So when it's when it says, because I saw the thing that's like liberate this planet, and I'm like, I can't select it. I can't interact with it at all. And
Hmm.
at one point, the planet right before it was available, but
Yeah.
then when I looked again, it was two away, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, so
I think the way the major order works for the reward is like if you interact with any of the listed planets um once, you'll get the medals. It seems like incredibly
perhaps, yeah,
kind.
that did happen on one of them, yeah. But yeah, it seems as if you have to stretch across and get to the planet next to it, and from the planet next
Yeah.
to it, you will then get to that one.
So
Okay.
apparently there are literally only 3 bot planets left on the entire galaxy map,
Hmm.
which says to me that the new faction or some nightmare enemy type is coming in within like a week. And it's going to push the gang back. But regardless, the good job on the creek, guys.
I was
Balatro.
gonna say you just violently
I got
ripped over
distracted. I got very
to
distracted. I'm so
Helldivers, but
sleepy today. I'm sorry.
okay. Well, no, just I mean Balatro, whatever.
I don't know
Um,
how to say it.
and then another thing. So as you're unlocking stuff, did you notice the title screen, Ace as well?
No.
Okay, on the title screen, play around with
I fucked with it a little bit.
yeah, you will see that Ace will dissolve and become something unlockable, and it'll usually hint at something that you can try to go create. So it'll be like it'll
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You can move it around, and then it'll show you an unlock condition.
Yeah, unlock, have at least 30 cards with Spade Suit in your deck.
That'll change a couple times, but that's another thing to just.
That's a
It's fun,
secrets.
fun stuff. Yeah. So, um, yeah, the wild, the crazier decks that you get after that are not the colored decks are fun. Where you get starting the run with like you start the run with two crystal ball with two copies of the Fool, for example, which is
Okay, that's ooh.
right, which is just like the ability to just whatever you get that you like, you can triple it right
You get a
away.
4 of a kind thing. Okay, well I guess I'm gonna roll 4 of a kind level ups times in a row and just immediately be like, what?
And
Build on that.
it has a crystal ball voucher, which is every time you open a foil pack, the type of hand you play the most will be guaranteed to be inside of that pack.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's
Oh,
just a deck based on good feeling. It's
yeah,
a
that's a good vibe
yeah,
deck.
it's just a you give me what I want, and it feels good. Yeah. Um so yeah, this is a perfect little time kill.
Yeah, there was one run that didn't go very well, but like I was cooking, it just didn't work out when it needed to, which was it was like give plus multiplier as long as you play any build that is not your most played hand,
Yes, that one's hard. That one's
right?
really hard. Yeah.
But I got it combined with times multiplier, sorry, plus multiplier for every hand played. Right. So what I
Okay.
did was I would just burn high cards for 4 turns
Okay.
to
Yeah.
build up the malt, and then high card was like far and away the most popular hand, and then I would play like a straight or like a flush, and it would multiply onto itself.
Another way to do that is there's a joker that makes it so that whatever hand you discard first gets increased by 1 level.
Yeah, I got that one, and it's tough because you want to use a good hand, but it has to be a hand you think you're gonna see again.
So instead, just play as normal, and what will happen is playing normally, high card gets juiced fucking high, right? And so with
Oh yeah.
by just playing normally and discarding normal things, high card will get really high, and then when you need to, you can just play a single
High
hand.
card will actually be
Help.
worth something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you get no bad hand. You been buying those blank vouchers?
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, I know. I bought 3 and was like, I'm like, I am not gonna not look up what that does.
It costs $10, but it's fucking worth it.
And then I looked up and went, well, what does it unlock when you buy 10 blank vouchers? And then it's like, I want that.
The best thing that you can.
Unlocked.
Yeah, yes.
That's the best voucher in the whole game.
The thing that you want more than anything else. The thing that you will destroy your entire build to get. Yeah, do it. Yeah. Okay.
Balatro coming in nowhere with swinging at Game of the Year.
Every single topic that gets brought up, potential Game of the Year. Actually,
it's real good lately. It's going well.
Man, I had my brain started crunching some numbers just yesterday when I had a build where I was getting a lot of spectral packs where it would destroy a single card to replace it with 4 enhanced ones, and and then I'm getting spectrals that are changing, or not spectrals, tarots that are changing certain cards back into hearts or spades or whatever the suit was, and looking at the distribution and seeing how asymmetrical it would get, and then trying to create symmetry with the enhanced cards, because I picked up a Joker that was called Flower Pot.
Yeah, Flower Pot.
Right, and Flower Pot is you want one of each suit in your hand for a big bonus.
I got Flower Pot and did not have what I needed to make Flower Pot work.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a good Joker way too late in the run, and it's like, this can't help me now. If one of the Jokers that's like, I'm going to devour a Joker every round, and I'm going to increase my multiplier, and that's it. And it'll increase whether or not you feeded a Joker. But the point is this is going to be your only Joker. You get that from the start, and you're fucking golden. But you get that halfway through when you've already set things up, and
you're like, no, I'm not going to fucking do that.
Yeah. Good shit. What else?
Oh, what else? Well, sat down and watched a movie with the wife when baby was asleep.
Yeah, you did.
We sat down and watched that Madam Web from Sony Pictures.
The Marvel property that deserves all of your attention right now.
No. So there's a lot to be said about this movie. The first of which is, more than the movie being terrible, is that it's a mess. It's 2 full hours, and it feels like a totally disconnected sequence of events.
Now, you are one of the few people that can actually put this in its proper context, as you have
Morbius context.
And Craven, or no? I forget.
I did not see Craven. No.
Okay, but you have Morb on the table.
Yeah. Morbius is like a terrible movie, but it's like a movie where things go and they happen, and they happen in the order, and you're like, okay.
But
I don't want to go over every detail, and because the plot's a mess and it doesn't even make any fucking sense. But there's Madam Web is the only film I have ever seen in my entire life in which the following happens. A character looks at the cast and goes, "Can you excuse me? I have to leave the movie now."
Yeah.
And walks away into a different movie.
Yes.
For 15 minutes, and just says, "Hey, everyone involved in the plot, stay here. I'll be back in 1 week," and just leaves the plot. Just completely leaves.
Lest we forget, Rick Grimes died for our sins, except that he didn't. And Cloud falling into the live stream.
And then they come back And they're like, I'm back from the other movie that I was in.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know what the spoiler criteria is on this, but I'll like basically they
On
go,
Madam Web, we're good.
I think that she goes, I need more information about all this spider shit. I'm going to go to Peru. I'll be back in 1 week. Stay here. And the entire movie just stops for a week as we go to her traveling to Peru so she can have one conversation with one guy and then come right back and goes, I am now back in the movie now. And it's fucking weirdest. And the weirdest part is that's the second time she does that. Earlier in the movie, she just leaves all the characters in a spot and goes, stay here. I will be back later. And she just drives away, does a different scene, and then drives back.
And are these moments the clues we need that lead up to Madame Morb? Are we getting our Madame Morb or aren't we?
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you get it. You get the whole there's so many little details that are just like astonishing. I thought I was going because we were listening. I figured out how to have two Bluetooth headphones connected to the computer so that the TV doesn't make any noise. So me and Paige are watching it, and I thought that there was something wrong with my setup. And I'd like other people to confirm or deny this, but the main villain of this movie, I don't know what the actor's name is. He is terrible. He is like he sounds like Neil Breen.
Fake Spider-Man 2.
I'm not even like, you know when you joke and you go like, haha, they're just as bad as Neil Breen. No, I don't mean that. I mean the actual cadence of the way he speaks actually reminds me of Neil Breen.
Wow. Okay.
And he is so bad. And okay, I'm not crazy. Like half or more of his lines are 80-yard.
Oh, it's all in pickup. Yeah, okay.
Not all of it. And the ADR is terrible because he'll be like talking to somebody and you'll have like the ambient room audio and it'll be like shot like a movie set. And then he'll turn away and you'll be like looking at the back of his head and then the ADR dialogue comes out and it sounds like us right now.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's doing it in a booth. And he's bad. He's so bad. They showed off the trailers of the girls and all their future spider outfits,
which were revealed on a Tide bottle, I believe.
Yeah, those are a movie trick. Because those are in visions of the far future of what may be.
Oh, it was a set up for the okay. Invest in this franchise.
They're in those costumes and doing that shit for approximately 90 seconds.
God.
In the entire movie.
It's like the Snyder peek into the future, right? Yeah. Okay.
Wooly, how do you feel about Pepsi?
I sure hope you were drinking one while you were watching the movie. I think
so. I'm trying to be hyperbolic because it doesn't. Trying not to be hyperbolic because it doesn't need it, right?
We know. It's the breakout fucking meme of this whole bit has been the level of plot centric fucking product placement has reached new heights. It's kind of incredible.
So she goes to the barbecue where Uncle Ben is at, and they hand her a Pepsi, and she goes, "What? You're not going to give me a beer? It's a barbecue." And he goes, "Well, you can't drink after you have a cardiac arrest, some bullshit." And she goes, "Okay." And then she holds the Pepsi like logo out. For the whole scene,
brand rotated towards the camera.
She holds it for like multiple minutes, and it's like, I get it, dude. I get it. It's a Pepsi.
I mean, at least Snakes on a Plane had the decency to like zoom in from the Red Bull on top of the TV, slowly into the frame.
Also, I'm just gonna say it right now. A Pepsi billboard kills the villain.
Yes.
Pepsi is literally the hero of Madam Web through the power of Pepsi.
That's awesome.
The P of the Pepsi logo is what crushes the villain to death.
Yeah, I want it.
And me and Paige are watching it, and we're like, bro, she like dropped an ambulance on him going like 90 mph earlier in the movie, and he shrugged it off. I don't know why the fucking Pepsi P weighs like 10 tons or something.
And the thing is that, like, according to movie tropes, we've all learned that, like, when the villain gets crushed, ironically, by some kind of billboard or product sign, it's usually like a statement about them and their undoing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like if only you drank Pepsi,
that you would have lived. Like usually, yeah, it would be like there's always that bit of like, oh, you got beat by. I can't think of an example, but you know what I mean. You know, it's like the thing that you ignored the whole time. This was here, and now it's just like if you drank Pepsi, you would have lived, but you didn't, so perish.
But I really can't So in the first encounter with not Spider-Man, she hits him with a taxi. And he's like, oh. And then later on in the movie where she's got to save all the girls who the dude's trying to kill, I'm like, what the fuck is she going to do? She's just going to hit him with her car again? And sure enough, she just blasts him, like does a big jump and like just blasts him with an ambulance that's like falling from the sky. And it looks like he should be a smear. And he just gets up and dusts himself off. And then later on, a little sign falls on him and he dies. And I'm like, I don't understand. I guess it's fate. But more than all of that, well, that and the actress hates it. The lady playing Madam Web is like, she's acting. She's doing a pretty good job, but like you can see like the disdain. You can just feel how mad she is.
The amount of clips of just Dakota Johnson just being like not interested in them, like why is this a meme? I don't get it. It was out of context. Like just not feeling it. There was a thread I want to say that popped up on Twitter that was like, here is a collection of all the insane marketing decisions they made from top to bottom, and they just put it all together.
But more than all of that. There's movies that are written with a second screenwriter, and there are movies that are written with the author of the book that you're adapting, that kind of thing. This movie had whoever was writing it at their desk, as I am sitting now, and right here, sitting directly behind them, as if to look over their shoulder, was a lawyer from Sony Pictures, making sure that they didn't technically say the words Spider-Man.
Good.
Or Peter Parker.
Good.
So this leads to really insane nonsense in which, well, her paramedic partner is obviously Ben Parker. And he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Oh shit! Okay.
And
it goes deeper.
And then the one of the opening scenes of the film, after we've established, and she had a little accident and fell off a bridge. Oh, you really got to come, Cassie. You got to come to the family get together. You got to come down here. And she's like, oh, I don't care about that shit. I don't want to get roped in. Whatever. So, what is this family event that Cassie Webb, her name is Webb, by the way, her name's actually Webb.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie Webb, what's she doing anyway? Well, Ben Parker is hosting his sister's baby shower. Mary Parker. Now, granted, they're not going to say the phrase Mary Parker.
Yeah.
It's my sister Mary.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, oh, Richard's out of town. It's annoying. He's got to work. He's doing important things. And then they start doing the baby shower, and the thing of the baby shower is like, hey, here's the game we're all gonna play at the baby shower. Well, you know what kind of games they play at baby showers. Guess the baby's name.
What's it gonna be?
And they don't guess it.
Oh.
They don't guess it.
Is it Paul?
Oh, I don't know. Could be.
No.
And so that's like fucking weird.
Yeah, okay.
Like the whole thing is just really strange.
So what you're describing is a very specific legal energy. And the only other instance I can think of is everything I've heard about the show Gotham, where that child over there is looking awfully dark and nightish. He is brooding, and there is a crazy guy hanging out over here, and Alfred is up to some stuff. Look at that butler do his thing. And there's a commissioner, but we have access to some things, maybe not others. I don't know.
So, it's like, whatever, you're right. It's like, okay, so the movie will continue, and it goes on the plot that the bad man who's not Spider-Man. And so they get attacked by not Spider-Man, and he's like in reverse color Spider-Man outfit for no reason. He just has the costume for no, like they never address it even once whatever. And the girls are like, that's crazy. Oh my God, he was crawling along the walls like some kind of spider person.
How unoriginal and lame is it for Spider-Man to come into this world where there's been like 8 Spider-Men before him?
And then they're in the cab driving away, and right after they say that, they go, I don't know what to do. We should call our parents. And then the black girl, who I think her name's Maddie, goes, I know what to do. I'll call my Uncle Jonah, and starts dialing her phone.
There he is.
And then, no, they don't. She doesn't finish the phone call. Doesn't finish the phone call. And
that
then
could be Jonah and a
truck
buddy.
goes by them. But that's not even the stupidest, weirdest shit. There's 2 more, and you're just like, wow, they're just dancing on a legal document with the writing of this script. So when Madam Webb goes to Peru to talk to the Magic Spider-Man, and they just chat, and he talks about how she's got magic because of some nonsense about how she got bitten by a magic spider in Peru. Because it's a magic spider. It's not a radioactive. They're magic.
Oh, good. That's it's important because in the Amazon, when you're researching magic spiders,
and he gets like a full shot. He gets like a full wide frame shot of like him dead center, and he goes, oh God, what's the fucking quote? It's, when you take responsibility, you will have all the power. Well, I think I might be screwing up a little, but it's like, it's so fucking ridiculous. Let me get the fucking direct quote. When you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's first of all, it's like very obviously worded that way just to get away from the legality, but also that's the opposite meaning.
No, it's the precursor, because it's the, you end that sentence with "and," right? ... Oh, hell yeah.
So here's where the movie completely falls apart in the desire to tie it in to shit that they can't tie it into, which is this. So it's kind of weird that the main character of your movie can just leave the movie for a week and nothing can happen, right? Well, the reason why that is because the 3 girls who will later on become spider people, but currently are just teenagers, well, they're hiding out at Uncle Ben's house. And as long as they don't go outside where they can't be seen by like a camera or like, then they're fine. They're safe, right? They're in Uncle Ben's house, and it's a safe house, and they're completely safe, right? And they have been safe for a week, maybe 8 days, right? Well, now that Cassie's coming back to New York, well, the plot has to go somewhere, right? Now, what could get Uncle Ben and all these people outside of the house in the most contrived way possible that doesn't... That's right. Richard Parker isn't home. He's abroad. And oh my God, my water broke 3 weeks early. We have to get not Spider-Man to the hospital to be born.
Right.
And then they all pile into the car, and me and Paige are going, why do they have to go to the hospital with Mary Parker and Uncle Ben? What, just what are you gonna do? Sit in the lobby and eat peanut? What? Just stay there. But we have to go so that the plot can go back up, right? And then Madam Webb she hits that guy with that ambulance, like I told you, and then that saves Mary and Uncle Ben and all the girls from getting blown up by the evil spider guy. And then Mary goes off and she's like, oh, I'm safe now with my baby, who I love and is very important. And then the rest of the movie continues, and then they kill the bad guy. And then they kill the bad guy, and then we smash cut to the monologue about the future and all that crap, which is little baby Peter Parker being born. Oh, he's gonna do great things. His life is so special and wonderful. And what are you gonna call him? And then they just fade out and they don't say it because they can't. And here's one of the last lines in the movie is the girls are talking to Webb, who is now blind and in a wheelchair. Because she has to get her Bret Hart sunglasses on so that she kind of looks a little bit like the comics.
Hell yeah.
And they go, oh, hey, where's Ben at? Oh, he's out doing whatever. He's not ready for all this uncle responsibility. And she smirks behind her sunglasses and goes, that's what he thinks.
Oh yeah, that's
and then
rules.
We see a vision
awesome.
of the future of all of them in their costumes, and they all look like shit. And then they go, you know what the best thing about the future is? It hasn't happened yet. And then it cuts to like 90s music, and it's like you're looking at 4 characters that will never appear ever again. Ever.
Bruce, when the day comes that you choose to smash, then you will Hulk. How do you even?
So like the whole movie, and here's where it starts to really just fly to pieces. The whole movie is like, I need to save these people's lives, and I can see the future a little bit, so I'm gonna change the future to save their lives, right? But she's sitting in her chair going like, yeah, Ben's gonna fucking bite it. Yeah. Well, we gotta have Spider-Man, so suck it. Oh, how did the blindness happen?
How did she get blind?
Well, she fell into the water. And when she was in the water, she got hit in the face with a firework. Despite the fact that she is visibly uninjured and completely fine as soon as it hits her in the face, when they pull her out of the water, the makeup team remembered to put the scars on her face.
Okay.
That weren't there when she was in the water, because doing that kind of makeup in the water would be hard. So they pull her out of the water, and once oxygen hits her face, then the damage shows up, and she's blind now. She probably hurt her back falling into the water also. That's probably why she got the wheelchair. So in the last bit where they're all doing their hero pose, I should mention like Madam Webb is also doing her hero pose, and she is just flying with psychic energy and Bret Hart sunglasses, and it looks really bad. It doesn't look good. It looks very bad. So yeah, the movie's a confusing mess, and the whole time you're sitting there going like, oh my god, they really desperately want Marvel to let them attach these, and they can't. So they're just gonna get it right up until the legal limit.
You know, Batman, all it takes is one good day to turn the craziest person into a normal, sane, happy guy. That's all it takes, really.
It's so there's like bad movies in which you're like laughing the whole time, and there's bad movies in which you're bored. Me and Paige were both just like, what? Huh? What? Like the whole time, just constant like, why'd you make the movie like this?
So the funny part is that like I find when like on a macro level, zooming out for years, for decades at this point, it's always been, man, I can't believe Marvel fucked up that deal and they gave the rights away, and now we have this weird Fox Sony altverse thing going on, and oh boy, are they struggling to get it right. And then okay, they figured some stuff. Nope, they're back to struggling. It's embarrassing.
You can really see that all of these actresses were told they were going to be Marvel characters in the MCU.
Well, so the MCU stuff happens, and then it's like, oh, there's a good side to be on, and that's the side where Michael B. Jordan is like, fuck, I'm on the bad side of the MCU. No, you know, and makes the jump and switches over and Killmonger's his ass into the good side. And you know, and then you get things like Spider-Verse happens where it's like, oh fuck, oh, Sony's doing a cool thing. Oh shit, yeah, okay, they figured that out.
Animation studios.
The animation studios is like turning the Sony branded thing into like, hey, that was pretty good. And so you actually got a little bit of fucking, you know, you got some goodwill back there. And then just to like quadruple down on they announced the Sinister Six verse years and years ago. I remember who
are they gonna fucking fight?
It was when Spider-Man 3 got announced, right? When there were trailers up for Spider-Man 3. I remember being on the bus in like Angry-Now area, and I think I was talking to you and like someone else. And there was an ad.
Sound kind of familiar.
And we were, and there was an ad on the fucking bus terminal for Spider-Man 3, and then there was like, oh yeah, they've announced recently they're gonna be making a whole Sinister Six spin-off series. You know, so from way back when they had this whole like alt thing in mind, and instead we just went straight to Venom, and then now we're Morbing, and now we're Cravening, and they're getting around to it. And the idea that you have to pull them all together into this giant roster of people that are orbiting around Tom Holland, and Tom Holland wants nothing to do with them and is trying to pretend they don't exist, and is just like Marge just being like, oh fuck, are they still here?
It is so strange.
Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, not good. You know what? I'm gonna put
your foot down.
Not a recommend for Madam Web is what I'm gonna say.
I mean, did you like when this decision comes down? I have to I imagine you and Paige are like, okay, so you're clicking play, and then like you're just opening up a content.txt file and just writing notes down. Like it's
so, you know what? That's usually what it's like, right? We'll watch some trash and like with the intent to for me to talk about it on the podcast or what have you. That didn't happen this time because we were just like kind of mouth agape, just like kind of like stunned. We started watching that 2 nights ago, but then the baby woke up, so we had to take care of him. So we finished the last 15 minutes yesterday. We started to talk about the movie for like the first real time like this morning. And just like she just left the movie. And right. And like I was talking to her about it right before I came over, and I was like, the movie is strangely unclear in my mind. I just watched it, and I do remember the basic events in some of the scenes, but it is starting to leave.
Waiting for the post-credit scene for your Nick Fury setup.
No post-credit.
That's old and busted. That was an entire phase or two ago.
Yeah.
Why wait till the end of the movie when we can do it in the middle of the action? Like, why wait for the credits for the sequel setup or the tie-ins? We can do that right here and now.
Strange.
Right?
Strange film. Morbius is a way better movie.
Wow.
Way better.
Okay. Yes, and Kraven is actually not out yet. So
okay, like
the trilogy is not here.
You know what Morbius had? You know what Michael Morbius, the Living Vampire movie, had? It had one person in that movie that actually had fun being there, and that was Matt Smith.
Right.
He was actually like, I'm a vampire, but I'm British, and was like dancing with the suit and all that shit. And so like there was like one person that was like, I am acting in a movie. Whereas this, like, the fucking main villain is like in an audio booth fucking dubbing over himself because his accent is too strong and he's a shitty actor.
I guess if you have to go, like, if you have to just go trash fire, like, Marvel shit, if you go this way, you get the absurdity of everything just described, and then the ability to escape in the Madam Webb Indian helicopter. I don't know if you saw that, but there's in India there's a helicopter that's Madam Webb themed. It's just like, like if you want a helicopter around in style and all that shit. But then you get the other side of like when these things go bad, and it's just the Netflix Iron Fist, post Daredevil shit that just got more and more, like, it started good and then it got like not as good and then it got worse, and then it just ends up being like boring, and it's like, oh, boring is so much worse than mind-numbingly insanely stupid and hilarious and brand dodging.
This movie is like, it's worth watching just if you love confusion. So I just remembered something really specific, and maybe this is a nitpick, but I feel like parts of the movie did not get updated when they changed drafts. Like, some scenes stayed in from older drafts and were not changed to make any sense. So the villain's name is Ezekiel. I'm just saying that for convenience, right? The startup of the movie is Ezekiel and Madam Webb's mom are in the Amazon, and Madam Webb's mom is pregnant with Madam Webb, right? You got me? Good. They're trying to find the magic spider, and he's been hired as security, right, to protect her in the Amazon, because Amazon's dangerous. She finds the magic spider. Then Ezekiel, because he's a bad man, shoots all the other guards and goes, give me that spider. I always wanted the magic spider. I tricked you. And she goes, no. And then he shoots her. And then he runs away with the magic spider, and then she gives birth in the Amazon in the spider cave. Okay? That's how that happens, right?
Sure.
Like, she's like, wait, what? I thought I just hired you. He's like, no, I've been searching for the spider for years, right? In the final confrontation, Madam Webb is like, I'll stop you. And he goes, your mother underestimated me. But so are you. And I'm like, what? She didn't even know you were a guy. You were just doing security. That's from an old draft of the movie.
Okay.
In which they had a confrontation.
And she knew, and he found out what was going on. Right,
like
right.
That is from an older script.
A cut that was made.
They never changed it. That doesn't make any sense at all.
She was literally pregnant at the time, right? Like, not even
How
even
did
born.
She underestimate you? You showed up, said, give me that with a gun, and she went, no, I don't want to. Like,
uh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Good
Also,
stuff.
like, hey, villain with a look, like a masked look. Gotta pull that mask off so that the actor's face can be out, right?
Of course.
But then you have to cut to shots of him from the side because they have to ADR his voice in. And so it's like, just leave his fucking mask.
Right.
Just like
Yeah.
you're having to cut away from his face to have him talk because he's a bad actor. So just put the fucking mask back on and just dub him over entirely.
What a weird thing where, like, we again we have a thing where Sinister Six is now you have a mixture of the rogues gallery where you get just fucking blue collar awesome Vulture and shit, you're dating my daughter, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the energy. Or goofball Jake Gyllenhaal Mysterio, there as well. And like one half of these characters are like cool versions of them, and then the others are just fucking ugh.
Did you see there was an interview with Michael Keaton in which they were like, hey, why was the Vulture in Morbius? And he was like, I don't know, man. They called me and they asked me if I wanted to do it. And I went, yeah, okay.
I mean, look, you could add. Why would Michael Keaton have that answer? Similar. Why would Dakota? When you ask Dakota, hey, name the other Spider-Man movies, like why would she? Spider-Man, here he comes.
Yeah, that
Spider-Man,
yeah.
he's back again. That's awesome.
Like I you know what's really awkward? Having a Spider-Man villain that doesn't have webs chase after you.
So like he's just jumping and running.
He's just jumping on cars like a weirdo.
Sick.
And you can just like every encounter with the villain is solved by just getting into a car and driving away.
All right.
Like yeah, I was like,
All
well,
right.
he can't. I mean, he's fast, but he's not like a Spider-Man.
I look forward to the trilogy in Craven, and then eventually, our Assemble movie, Madame Morb, the Hunter.
Wooly, this movie posits that by the time Peter Parker shows up, he is the 5th New York Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that they have been active for 20 years.
Also, there's a whole bunch of West Coast symbiotes having a war in LA. A symbiote war is breaking out on the other side of the country. Peter has nothing original to bring to the table.
Like it's double weird because it's like now we've like I know Spider-Man comics actually have like Spider Totem and all that stupid magic shit, which I think is dumb. But like, okay, oh wow, all these people have magic spider powers. You have radioactive spider powers. Oh, ooh. Crazy. They even have the audacity to make the fucking the magic spider blue and red in the same shades. Like it's a Spider-Man logo spider.
Yeah. That's how you got it. That's how you get the fucking whoa. That's how you get the pog face. You gotta, it's good. It's good. So one more time, was it? When you take responsibility, then comes the power.
Let me pull it back up. I just had it. Let me get it. When you take on the responsibility, great power will come. And hey, I'm gonna complain about a weird costume thing. So the three girls, they have their future vision where they're spider ladies. And the villain's having a vision of this, so he wants to prevent his own death. That's like the whole crux of the movie, right? And so they're all wearing like spider masks, right? And the Spider-Man outfit, but they're wearing like, I don't know what to call it, like a comic book character like girl mask, in which it's like just the eyes, the nose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you just see who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that. I'm like, that doesn't seem like a good costume. And the movie agrees, because the entire reason why he's like, I'm going to kill them when they're younger, is that he's like, oh, I remember what they look like from my dream. So I'm just going to do police sketches of them and then feed that into a computer, and the computer will DH them 5 years. And oh, there they are. Okay, we found them.
And the mask did nothing.
Well, yeah. Nothing.
Sick.
Like their hair is all the way out. You can see their eye color and their whole fucking face below the nose. And you're just like, why even wear the fucking mask at all?
I mean, it worked for Robin. No one figured that shit out forever.
Robin's covers his eyes. Like your eyebrows and this around your eyes and the top of your cheekbones, that's actually very distinctive. That is way more like Lone Ranger shit.
Yeah.
That is way more anonymous than the spider goggle where you can just see through the glass to the whole person. But again, they wanted, you got to see the actress.
Sick.
You have to.
Well, I'm sure the plotted sequels and
those are going to happen with an entire cast of people who are actively vindictive about being tricked to star in the movie in the first place,
and also have not seen it and are continuing to not see it. Yeah, good shit. All right. Anything else in particular?
I played a ton of Dragon's Dogma. Ton of Dragon's Dogma.
I can I can jump in there. I continued poking that with a stick as well.
I know.
You saw the levels?
Because on a whim, I went to the official pawn thing, and I was like, I wonder if it actually played it. And like level 24, that's considerably more than poking it with the stick.
Yeah, I feel like there's like an obligation to make sure that the pawn feels useful.
Mm-hmm.
So Wooly has continued to level up, but I haven't done a class switch on him just yet.
Usually you max it out.
Yeah.
And then you'd say, oh, I'll try this one that seems interesting.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you get to?
I got to Batal, which is the people
Yeah,
country.
okay.
And for anybody who's watched my stream or listened to us talk about Dragon's Dogma prior, it's more of the same. The story breaks when you get to Batal, in that the main story just stops and becomes like a side quest haven, and becomes a lot more focused on side stuff and exploration.
Now, is that because the weird way that they're going about this? Because I got to the point where you get the letter and it's like, oh shit, there's a letter to Batal, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have to find a library for the prisoner that is like, put me somewhere with a lot of books. And it seems as if the main way the game is delivering its story is you're going to go to the bar and talk to Brant. And he's going to have the entire main quest line in conversations.
So not technically true. Brant only has a full 50% of the game's main quest line.
50%. Okay, it felt crazy. Like it kept growing. And I was like, oh, you're just the mainline quest giver, actually. Which I didn't expect to be a
quests.
thing.
There are 16.
Fuck.
And a couple of them are getting to Brant.
Yeah, okay.
So when you get to Batal, I think there are like 3 or 4 main story quests to go. And some of them, I'm being warned, don't do it. You'll trigger the world state change.
Okay. Interesting. It's an interesting way of going about it, I suppose, in the sense that, like, if you have other games where it's like, go to this red point on the map and that'll be where the main quest is going to start or continue. But here there's a guy who will hand them to you, and you can take on more than one of them if you want to, but it's probably bad idea to do so.
Yeah, I did. I scoured the whole map and then did most of his quests and did them in like a minute. And then was like, hold on, go to Batal. And then I fell into Batal by accident.
Okay.
Like I was just exploring Vernworth and I like accidentally crossed the border.
Oh, okay. It feels as if there's some part, like I noticed that there's like, okay, so there's literal gates that say, get the fuck out of here until you show permission, right? But then, while doing some of the mainline stuff, you'll have a notification pop up, or for example, like the scene occurred where you meet the head courtesan of the Rose House or so.
Oh, Wilhelmina.
Right. And then it's like, you've been invited to the coronation, so you can get prepared to set up for the coronation. But the main Batal thing has not been settled yet, have you
done that? That coronation is like a fucking goof. It feels like a trick.
I haven't done anything with it yet, but
the coronation quest is 30 seconds long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, because I'm like, why you're giving me a mainline quest while 2 others are active right now?
Yeah, no. So it literally says if you do the coronation, you'll fail all the other quests because time will move forward. So you do all the other quests, and then you go and do the coronation, and you like walk up to the castle, and then go, we're chickening out, and leave. And it's like a single cutscene.
Jesus Christ.
And then he goes, go to Batal. And I'm like, what the fuck?
But it fails everything else active before that.
Yeah, because it marks like the end of the first act.
Weird.
Yeah, the game's story is I think the story is like significantly worse than Dragon's Dogma 1's story.
I heard some people talking about how Dragon's Dogma 1 had a whole lot of like lively NPCs you got to meet and hang out with that were like remarkable.
There were way less characters in Dragon's Dogma 1, but like they were more interesting. Mm-hmm. And also you got to talk to the dragon more often in DD1.
Okay. It doesn't count when you're just rolling down the road and then a fucking dragon rolls up and so goes, show me what you got, bitch.
No, that's the same. That's the same.
Okay, because that happened like 3 times now. And it's like, fuck, I'm not ready. Get away from me. It's like, no, let's go. We going. We in the streets, player. Get your mail.
So like, I love the game so much and I can't stop playing it. Yeah, it's also a mess. Like, it's so fucking weird, and it has such high highs, and there's parts that are like, fuck. I would call them weird lows.
Okay.
But what's not a weird low is that I found the Sphinx. And the Sphinx challenges you to her riddles, and that sequence is incredible. It is amazing. And it works like in and outside of your perception of how the game works.
Is that a character? Is that someone in DD1 as well?
No, it's something they talked about in the previews, where there is a monster out there called the Sphinx.
Okay. And
she will challenge you with her riddles. And there's a lot of riddles.
Okay.
And they're not difficult, but they require you to change the way you think about a lot of the stuff in the game. Like, solving the riddles in many cases is as simple as maybe picking the right item out of a list or something like that.
Right.
But you have to put yourself in the headspace of this mythical monster, and it's so cool, and the animation associated with it is so awesome, and the voice acting on the Sphinx is great. And then I finished all of the riddles, and then they flew away and said, hey, guess what, idiot? You want more riddles? Go find me again. I do want more riddles.
Okay.
They're great.
Okay, so this is not like a... Okay, sorry. For some reason, I was thinking of this as like a boss fight where you had to answer certain things or something. But this is just
I mean, I'm sure there is a like, if I felt like it, I could probably attack the Sphinx, and that would be a boss fight. But... But yeah, no, incredible, absolutely amazing. Probably the best encounter in the entire game.
How are you handling upgrading the shit you wear? Because
I'm not.
because the feeling of putting money into something, that's fine. Putting in consumables and then replacing it with just a better thing at the next shop sucks.
I think it's like I think it's usually a better investment to sell almost every fucking, like, because you would get
Upgrade
so
material.
many monster parts. You get so many.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, maybe sell 50 of those fucking slate horns they're not going to use. Right?
Yeah.
It's the numerical increase on getting a new piece of gear is so much stronger than upgrading a piece of gear.
It felt like it. So I was just like, I'm like, is this a waste of time? Fortunately, thank fucking God, the game lets you use resources that are already in your box that are not on your person while doing upgrades, which is
it's really nice.
Oh my God, that's so it's
seems,
nice to not have to worry about that.
It seems like the kind of thing where upgrading your gear is mainly like, oh, do you really love the way this thing looks and want to keep it for a disproportionately long period of time?
I was wondering,
Then upgrade it. That being said, the first upgrade is always just cash.
Yes. So I do one level
boost.
Exactly.
Yeah,
one level in cash is fine. Yeah.
I'm running into the issue where, so the further you go into the game, enemies start giving you more experience. Of course they do. But they also start giving you more discipline points. So as you move from east to west, you start burning through the vocations faster and faster and faster. And then I run into a different gear up problem, which is, well, I'm not going to buy a fucking full set of archer gear so that I can switch back to something else in 3 hours.
Yeah, you get it from the switch over, and then
you get like the base level.
Yeah, but then if you sell that, then it's gone, and it forces you to wear something that you shouldn't be able to. But then you'll be like, for example, I sold the sorcerer staff or the mage staff, switched back from sorcerer to mage, and then I was just unarmed. It's like, yeah, you're a mage, but go buy a staff, idiot.
Yeah. Somebody in chat points out, like, they changed to archer for the first time in Batal, and then the first time they killed something, they got 4 ranks in archer.
Wow. Okay.
Like, it's much faster.
I also had a mini panic attack when I so like I got the royal clothing that's like, oh, this is what the posh people wear, you know.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, the courtly vestments or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sure. And I'm like, okay, I have too many copies of this now. I got it from like 3 different quests or whatever. So like,
it's all over. I think I have 5. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me just sell the extras, and then I go to do that, and then like you go to the guy who sells them, and he's selling them for like over 100,000 or some crazy amount.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting.
And it's like, is it? What, like, did I fuck up by selling these extra copies, or
nah? That's just to punish you if you somehow don't
lose
get any copies on your
own. Okay. And then the other thing is like, what's weird about this is with the getting shit back from the Rift when you sleep at inns. Like, I'm mostly getting some drafts and some whatever, like meat. But then every once in a while, someone puts a fucking piece of armor on or so. Apparently, there's a whole bit where if you make your character pantsless, people are going to be like, God damn it, put some pants on, and then you get free pants.
People are making fun of like IGN for that.
Okay.
We're like, oh, I'm losing all this money putting pants on your pawns because I'm a massive prude.
Nice. But the someone gave me it was a big deal. It was the ring of fucking, it was the wedding ring, basically. Like,
Eternal Bond.
Yeah, and I was like, that thing sells for more money that would solve all the problems I'm currently having financially.
Yeah, so you can get one. That's a pre-order bonus, and there is one you can get in the game.
And it's at the bottom of the list of vocation training stuff, right? When you tune in discs, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, then there's 2, I think.
So it's like
you can get.
Right. So it's like, this is, I guess this is the ring of, you give it to an NPC that you want to be in a relationship with, and it just locks that in.
The way that so I don't have this for sure, so I'm only going off of Dragon's Dogma 1, the way that it worked. So there's a hidden affection meter in the game. If you do quests for people or give them gifts, blah blah blah, you can raise their affection. And if you max out their affection, when they talk to you, they will have a weirdly horrible blush on their face. It'll be super pronounced. And if you go to pick them up, instead of throwing them over your shoulder, you'll princess carry them instead.
Yeah.
So that's how you know.
Right.
But here's the fun part. I'm pretty sure it works the same way. I'm pretty sure it works the same way as it does in DD1. But at some point, the game will be like, "This is your beloved. This is your boyfriend or girlfriend, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it determined that was, okay, these characters are maxed out because it's easy to max out affection. All right, out of these maxed out characters, which is the last one you talk to before starting the end game? And it will go this one. So this is how you get into situations where, wait, what? They're my fucking beloved? What?
There's no actual choice you make or answer a thing.
Well, if you have the Ring of Eternal Bond and you put that on them, that will max out their affection instantly and then lock them in.
So this is where the question arises where I'm like, okay, that's cool to know that that's what that does. I currently need cash and I'm certainly, you can go grind it out for sure. But I haven't met
selling monster parts is like the fastest way to get money.
Yeah, I guess. I'm like, I haven't met any character at all besides the first girl, maybe? That's like,
oh no, it can be anyone, bro.
Pawns included, literally anything.
Oh no, not pawns. Pawns don't count. They have no free will.
Yeah, because you're surrounded by these NPCs that are rolling with you, but they're not really people.
Bro, you know that? Okay, you know that archer that's in the middle of Vernworth? The guy who's asking for a human bow.
I don't think I have.
Oh, he's right next to the smithy. He's the only elf in town.
Okay.
Anyway, so like I did his quest, and now when I talk to him, he's like, "Hey," and so's his dad. So like if I like go to the elf town and fucking talk to them before the elf game, before the end game, like there's a possibility that like elf boy or elf dad will show up as my fucking beloved.
Okay. Susie got her pawn as her beloved.
Oh, okay. Really? Ooh, how the fuck do you do that?
Okay. Because
that's cool.
Yeah. Well, because essentially I'm just looking at this thing and I'm like, right now, I don't know what the value of any of this fucking
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. But don't worry about it. I really want to sell it though.
So Dragon's Dogma 1 on launch had one of the best stupid design oversights ever, which was that affinity would go up with characters if you spoke to them. Just spoke to them.
Huh.
Which meant the tiny old man who has no hair and is like a gross old guy who says masterworks all, you can't go wrong, because he's the weapons dealer for every weapon in the game, ended up being like most people's beloved if they beat the game fast enough.
Dumb.
Because you talk to him all the time, man. That means you love him. That means you love him.
So many games have figured this out. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So now you have a ring to just confirm and lock it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I guess the other question is, does it even mean anything besides picking them up in the blush?
No, not really. It might later. It might in the ending. But okay. Nah, who cares?
Because I also haven't heard anyone refer to if in any game where relationships matter, people talk about that stuff a lot. And, it's not being discussed.
There's like a discrete scene with Ulrika, and there's a discrete scene with Wilhelmina, like a romantic thing. But they're like super dog shit and don't matter.
Okay.
And not exclusive.
Reminder that I'm coming off of fucking Mass Effect, the trilogy. Yeah, no. So
no, Dragon's Dogma is obsessed with one thing and one thing only, and that is wandering around the wilderness and fighting a bunch of monsters. Though I was talking to some friends last night, and the enemy variety in DD1 is very similar to DD2 before the expansion came out. but you seem to fight a lot less large monsters in DD2. Like wights and chimera and ogres and cyclops seem significantly rarer than they do in DD1.
I'm running into those fuckers every 10 minutes, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. They're all over the map constantly, to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore you. I don't feel like dealing with that. I've been running into the minotaurs and the fucking just big ogre types.
Man, I really like the Minotaur. That is probably my favorite enemy in the game.
His rush is pretty cool. But a bunch of them I've seen. And then the one, and even just like hanging out at the around the campfires and stuff. And then the Griffin is of course doing its own thing. Dragon's doing its own thing. Yeah, I don't know. I've
That's strange.
I hit enough of them that I'm now like I'm okay to run from this fight. I don't feel like dealing with this right now. You know, a Minotaur also broke its way into town.
Oh yeah, that happens.
So
I fought a Cyclops and an ogre in the middle of town, and it's awesome when that happens. When you start to see the NPCs just freaking out.
Yeah,
like, what's going on?
But then
that's going on.
But then anyone who can fight starts joining in too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know.
Like, I was fighting an ogre, and there were like 30 guards plus me and my pawns just beating on it.
So, like, am I supposed to grab onto the Griffin and fly away, and when it flies away, stay with it?
Yeah, if you want.
Because that fucker, I can't get him to not run away. And
so
I'm on like round 8 now.
Oh, really? So there's basically two things. If you set his shit on fire and whoop his legs hard enough, you can stun lock him. But yeah, you can grab onto him and fly away. I did that.
You had enough stamina to maintain the entire ride?
Oh yeah. Well, when he's like just flying, you don't even need to grab on. You can just stand on him.
Oh, okay. You don't use your stamina.
You know when you're crawling on a monster, but like you're like in a place that you could reasonably stand up, your character has like a very slightly different stance. If you let go, you will just stand on them and start regenerating your stamina. And that's how you can do like certain attacks directly into their eyes.
Okay. Because I tried grabbing on once and I'm like, this is impossible. Now I fall and die, you know? Yeah, okay. And also, again, like I'm like, let me just try to stun lock and get him on the ground and do enough damage. And each time so far, it's been on the last life bar and it's flying away forever. So I'm like, I don't know if there's some sort of like extra thing I need here to finish him off, but yeah. All right.
You just need to hit him harder, basically.
Fair.
Lighting his shit on fire works really well. Like really, really well. In fact, lighting everyone on fire works really well.
Yeah.
That being said, the trip after I followed the Griffin to its nest was for real.
It's also like, I don't know if I guess the intent, like, okay, I assume the intended progression is, but it's kind of like you go wherever. But if you happen to find yourself in a town where the armor they sell is a little bit stronger than the one you're currently wearing, you're probably where you're supposed to be, right?
Sure. It has the basic path for the game is an S.
Okay.
like through the map.
Yeah.
It's like you start at the top and then you go to the right around and then the capital and you just do a C from there.
Okay.
It's basically a straight line.
Because yeah, like I didn't get to, because I went over to like I said, the hidden village, and I ignored Harv for a while, and then I jumped on an ox cart and then teleported to Checkpoint Rest Town. And I bought
Checkpoint Town's got great shit.
And I bought a staff there that was like 3 times better than the current one I had, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, so I just got to Batal, and the stuff from Batal is the upgrade from the Checkpoint Rest Town.
Okay. Yeah, well, interesting.
And it looks cool. It looks like cool shit.
But I also definitely had some points when I did go to Harv and clear out that issue and stuff, where it's like, hey, come check back in a couple of days, and I'm like, bitch, I'm teleporting in and out. Leave me alone. Like, I definitely was like,
I'm back.
yeah.
I'm back in a couple of days.
Well, they put a stone there, so you know you can.
Yeah. So I'm not there yet, so this is an assumption. But it's really strange how much of a do-over Dragon's Dogma is Dragon's Dogma 2 is, because like the quest in Harv to go into the basement to like fight the Saurians is so similar to one in Dragon's Dogma 1 that I am in kind of awe, because you get down there and you see like a weird ruin that you can't interact with, and you go, what the fuck is that? And then I go, oh, it's later is what it is.
Okay,
it's for later.
Have there been, I know the answer to this question as I ask it, it is obviously yes, but I'm going to ask anyways. Where are the complete psychopaths that have gone up to the ballista, aimed it, and actually hit the griffin out of the air knowing its trajectory?
Oh, that's tough, man.
That seems insane.
I haven't seen it.
I can't imagine that's actually a thing, but what else could that be for?
I can tell you.
It must be to study the path of the griffin, aim it up, wait long enough, and then get it the way you wait for that thief or the beggar.
There is one point in which there's like a ballista that you can aim at a grounded opponent.
Oh, Jesus. Sick.
And I missed or didn't hit the weak point. And then it beat my ass for like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It beat my fucking shit in.
Fuck you. You deserve it. Don't miss. But that's like, okay, grounded, aiming it down, that makes quite a bit more sense. But the idea of just this thing that flies across the sky sometimes, and it's gonna maybe cross your path, and you've got to not only like have that preemptively locked in, but you've got to fire and anticipate it's madness. It's madness.
So here's one of those fun things.
If it was hit scan, maybe.
One of the best things about this game is that the Griffin is way more aggressive than it was in the first game. In Dragon's Dogma 1, most people would fight a singular Griffin.
Okay.
And it was like the core of like a large quest.
I mean, it feels like I'm, again, round 8 with this fucker. It feels like it's an ongoing battle.
A couple. They're definitely, there's definitely more than one Griffin.
Yeah, you know what? Looking at this ballista setup, goddamn Rusty from Armored Core is a badass.
Yeah.
How fucking sick is that, man? Oh, it's hard. Okay. I'm sure there's a clip of someone out there that got that. I'm curious.
There's so much there's so much I love about Dogma 2, and I think it's great, but I also think it's terrible. Like,
the jank is overwhelming. It is overwhelming.
It's so here's the I can't think of anything that I would describe this way. You know, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is 1 step forward, 1 step back. Like, wow, the world map is so much larger and more fun to explore, and it's so much more interesting. And the enemy variety is way worse than it was in Dragon's Dogma 1.
Okay.
And the enemy density is so high. It's so high.
Yeah, like, I feel as if I have a similar level of curiosity to Breath of the Wild's what the fuck is over there, right? When looking at this map, but upon arriving, it's not this majestic, gracious moment. There's no Elden Ring like,
it's very subdued.
And then not only is it subdued, but like whatever it is, even if it is impressive or kind of cool, there's like 8 little janky NPCs pathing badly around it, going, we're out of my way. What?
But Batal has like
getting stuck on an ox cart.
Batal has like a fun little addition to the way the game works with the enemy density. So in Batal, enemies have like new variations. So there's like a gore cyclops, or there's like a ogre that has like more fur on it, and they work as like variants. But the main thing in Batal is that the way that the levels are structured, enemies are so close together that the likelihood of multiple different types attacking you simultaneously is really high. So like,
yeah, that's happened once or twice.
in the main Vernworth area, you're like fighting some goblins, and we got a little too close to the wolves. Now we're dealing with goblins and wolves. In Batal, it's like I'm fighting harpies, the lizards, goblins, and wolves.
Yeah.
Simultaneously. And they are running up on you, and they are all just kicking the shit out of you.
No, night fights are currently skeletons, ghosts, and probably wolves, in unison, coming at you a bunch of the maps. So, by the way, you changed Paige from a warrior to a thief, and you fucked up my team composition.
Well, Paige Big Paige, that is, has been rotating around the cast. She hit rank 6 in fighter, then she maxed out in warrior, then she maxed out in archer, then she maxed out in thief, and she's currently halfway to maxing out mage, and then will be sorcerer, and then she'll be done.
The only available ones I have are the 2 low-level fighter ones, and then the current class. So, yeah. I was like rolling with.
Still get a real pawn.
Yeah. I did start
a non-free pawn.
I did start. I have more than enough money. I'm getting stupid amounts of RC. Although it's weird to find Riftstones, and then they're like, okay, this is a Riftstone that you can't choose anything. You take what you can get.
Yeah.
Now here's one. Right, and then here's one that's like, you can choose, but you could choose from like 10 dudes that are here. And
well, okay, so I can explain that. So the ones that just out a random pawn, that random pawn is always going to be 3 or 4 higher levels than you. Like that's the idea behind that. It's like, oh, here's a high level pawn. The problem is that I have a lot of RC, so my pawns are always way higher level than whatever that thing spits out. So it's totally pointless. The second of which is that it's like, here's pawns, and it will always have some kind of criteria. And there's a lot of those.
Right.
Here's really tall pawns. Here's pawns with quests. Here's pawns with maxed out tits.
I saw Big Titty Riftstone. Is that real?
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally real.
Oh my god. I was like, oh, it's gonna be about their temperament. This pawn is always calm. Yeah.
Here's all simple ones. Here's all straightforward ones. Yeah, there's tons and tons and tons
Big
of them.
Big Titty Riftstone.
And the thing is that when you go back to a regular Riftstone, you can actually search for all those subtypes if you found them.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, okay. So the category ones unlock the filter for you later.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
The other thing that I've been deep diving on this shit. So the augments, the things that you get for maxing out a vocation, and they're the passives you can pick, you can carry over to other vocations.
the last list. Yeah,
they're called augments. I discovered that there seem to be some math errors with the augments. Most of them are statistically worthless. Most of them represent 5% increases. Some are flat increases.
Okay.
Like the final thief augment, which increases strength, it increases your strength by 30.
Wow. Okay.
Which is nothing.
Wait, not percent.
30.
The number. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's nonsense. The only 2 augments in the whole game that are just like amazing and they do what you think they do is the first fighter augment and the first mage augment, which is defense and magic defense, are 30% buffs to defense and magic defense specifically. All the other ones are like various little flavor of 5 or 10% you would never notice. But those first 2 for fighter and mage are incredible.
Okay, but the thing is that like I'm currently not multi-classing, and a bunch of the shit to unlock is like I maxed out those skills I think are useful that I need to have, because I'm also like like, okay, if Wooly,
What's your Arisen's class again?
so mage,
Mage.
and
Okay.
I switched over to sorcerer, didn't like it, switched back to mage. The ability to
Mhm.
heal is too important, especially
It's
considering
really good.
the squishiness. And then yeah, I put on the ice power geyser.
Yeah.
The
Friggle.
lightning is great.
The
Um,
11's incredible.
and then take a hit of armor
Yeah.
and heal me and or heal anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, those are right. And so like I'm like, oh, stock a spell. That sounds good. Fuck that. It wastes time. The stocked spell doesn't come out faster than just casting it anyway.
Oh, that's one of those really fun ones in which stalking the spell will ruin a pawn's AI if you put it on them.
Because they just start doing non-spells.
They just start stalking them all the time.
Stupid. So stupid. Like it sounded amazing because I'm assuming it's like you don't have to do the cast animation when you release it. And of course, no, that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be you still have to do the cast animation. So the entire point of stalking it is defeated because I'm just doing the same length as casting it anyway.
There's also some goofiness with like the master skill for archer is called Great Arrow, and it's just like you blow your entire stamina bar on one big arrow.
Okay.
Right? Like dire arrow on crack, right? You can't give it to pawns because pawns are like, you see that wolf over there? I'm going to spend 10 seconds charging up a shot.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile, see that ogre?
Mm-hmm.
Regular arrows.
Right. And so,
it causes the pawn to like turn off.
So that's where, and so this is where when I'm buying abilities for just fighter Wooly, I'm like, okay, you're probably going to need, for just utility purposes, I'm like, you're probably going to want a pawn that can do an aerial attack to get like a harpy that's flying, because there's aerial shit, and if they can't reach it, that sucks. All right, here's a counter, block, and stab, here's a stinger. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to launch you up because I'm sure advanced classes are going to enjoy and need that utility, and it'll be fun for getting up to heights or whatever. But there's a bunch of times where, like I said, like if they just run up to you and run away from the fight to go like, here, I'm going to get you up there. And I'm like, but I don't need to jump right now. That's a waste of time and damage. And then some of the other abilities I can give the pawn are like not as useful as the spread of skills I currently have. So the only thing to spend the points on, since I'm not multi-classing, is those augments. So I've gotten all of them, So
there's a massive thread that Blastio Boots made, describe like getting data mine shit and just like figuring out like what do these fucking do numerically. The defense one for fighter and the one called Thu, which is 10 extra kilograms of weight. Those are good. Okay. Those are really good. The magic defense one for mage is really good.
I mean, yeah. I'm wearing both rings that are like carry more shit.
Oh yeah, just do it. And so on and so forth. But like the magic defense and defense ones and the one with extra weight, like those three are like the best by far.
Okay.
Like by far. Everything else is like to taste. Okay. Right? There is one detail about vocations that you should know, which is really interesting. If you do get far enough into the game to unlock the final class, the Warfarer, the one that's all classes simultaneously, it splits discipline points between all of your other classes.
Oh, that's interesting. They all got up. They all can all level up.
So when you get Warfarer, half of your points will go to Warfarer, and half of your points will go to ranking up all the other classes.
Nice. Okay.
Simultaneously. Okay. So if there's classes that you fucking hate, but you want their augments, you just run Warfarer. That being said, the three augments that I mentioned are the good ones. All the other ones are like, it's fine. It's okay.
I'm just like, I'm not buying the boons. I'm not casting them on people. I'm hiring pawns.
The boons are incredible.
The pawns I hire do the booning. Oh,
well, there you go. Yeah. There you
go. So my current deal is the two pawns run in, right? Wooly and Page, or Wooly and Fighter pawn will run in. extra pawn will do boons and some extra support shit, and I hang back with a bag of potatoes and just cast lightning or ice and just
that'll do it.
and just eat potatoes.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That's it. Like shoving chips in the gut and just power geysering things.
The boons are way better on pawns because they can just aim them with AI. They don't have to follow people around. They just perfectly target. Archers are better as pawns. Straight up, because they have perfect accuracy. Like I don't know if you've had an archer pawn and then seen what the goblins in the fight look like after you're done, but they all have perfect
just lit
headshot.
Up. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. I noticed that like targeting a healing spell is also kind of shitty. I don't know.
It's not. Yeah.
Like again, you can't do a hard lock on, so I'm like tracing the character who it says I'm like 2 people are here, one needs help badly. I target them, and then they move a little bit, and the other one runs in front, and it's like, actually, this guy. And I'm like, fuck, no, can you not? That sucks. I hate that.
That's the learning curve.
The learning to compensate for the auto-targeting system being garbage.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things is that, like, your pawns learn from you, and if you play a vocation, and then you put your pawn as that vocation, they will do some of the things that you do, if they're good ideas. So like Big Page, when I changed her to a thief, she's a really good thief. Also, thief is the best vocation because like, numerically and statistically and strategy, and it has the best and strongest skills, and it has the best master skill.
Interesting. I just noticed I hired a thief that was like, yo, here's 10K if you kill a griffin, so that's a nice reward, and then 2. Your map is now glowing with materials that I'm gonna run and get for you.
That fucking thing. Because the materials can be anything.
It was like I was like, oh shit, that's a nice utility. So, you know, doing that for now. But like, okay, I guess combat wise overall too, and stealing shit in the middle of the fight.
Oh, clarifications from Susie in the chat. Hey Susie, she disagrees and says the magic archer is the strongest. You're probably right, but I was mainly talking about pawns. Like the strongest person you could put on a pawn is thief. Yeah, Magic Archer has a move that just kills every boss in the game directly.
Oh wow, okay.
Their master skill is like an arrow that you burn health on, like the whole bar. Like the loss gauge doesn't even exist. You just burn it.
Okay.
And if you burn it down to like almost dying, it'll one shot anything.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I kind of like if I can multi-class in a way where I can hold on to that defense spell or that healing spell, that might be good.
Well, that is for the last unlockable.
That's the
vocation.
last thing. Okay. Because like when I switched over to Sorcerer, the secondary ability, which was get stamina back instead of heal, I fucking hated that. I was like, this sucks. Slowing me down to get stamina back is not what I want to do. I want to put up a healing bubble and you know, contain damage when the pawns are being stupid, and then I'll just fucking eat potatoes to deal with my stamina.
That's the reason why Warfare is the strongest. So Warfare people did the, you remember they said the Warfare had lower stats than the other classes.
Yes.
It's like 5%.
It's not even big. Okay.
You would never even notice.
Gotcha.
You would never notice.
Gotcha.
And you're like, well, they have to burn one of their skills on switching weapons, right? So you're like, oh darn, you only really get 3 skills. Being able to grab 3 skills and all the weapon abilities is so fucking busted.
I would imagine.
You can equip a mage staff just for the heal and levitate.
Oh, levitate is so good.
You don't need any of the real skills.
Yeah. Levitate is incredible. Platforming game changer. Fight game changer.
Like you can just put fucking I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a move called gut and run and draw and quarter, which is a thief move that hits weak points. It's when you climb on somebody and you just stab something in the weak point.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just put that on Warfare for the times that you climb on them. Why not? Just do it. It'll just kill
Shadow
them.
the Colossus,
Was it Mystic Spearhand? Is not the best class, but it does have the single best skill in the entire game. One of their skills is a bubble shield, that goes around you. And it goes around anybody within 10 yards of you and renders you fully invincible to everything for 10 seconds.
Jesus. Wow. Okay. I mean, the current thing I have lets the team tank a hit, which is really nice. But yeah, that's pretty fucking
fully
incredible.
Invincible.
Yeah, no, as I was saying, like, you just meet a guy who's using Spear Hand, ask him about his fighting style, and then he says he made it up, and then you just get the class.
And you're like, cool, I'm a Jedi.
Huh, okay.
You were, I don't know if I was talking to you, but I was like, oh man, that Mystic Spear Hand class really looks like Darth Maul. Because it's got like telekinetic stuff, well, like a Jedi. And then I started to play it, and I'm like, oh, they literally like used episode 1 fight choreography as like the basis for some of these animations.
Actual Ray Park flippy flop moves.
Like the critical hit on a standing opponent is the move that Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon with.
Okay.
Like the slash.
Yeah. Turn. Yeah. Interesting. I did get a double-sided sword, and it said like, this is for later.
Yeah, that's for that guy.
Shut up and put it away, idiot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, people point out it's also Virgil because it has doppelganger and trick and summon swords.
Okay.
Like it's.
Well, if anyone gets to fucking do it, Capcom certainly.
Oh, there are 2 NPCs in the game called Dante and Virgil, and they're the ugliest NPCs in the game. They're hideous.
Yeah, dude, the pawn called M. Bison is awful.
Yeah, like, I don't know what do they mean by this?
What did they mean by this? like literally, why even do that? It takes me a full 30 seconds to load that pawn up and walk him to him in the rift and go, ew, no. You know, expecting some cool guy with a hat, maybe like a fun sort of Bison-like reference. Not at all.
Nah, man, just some ugly piece of shit.
What a dumb. I don't do that.
Yeah. There's also have you gotten sick yet?
No.
There are elements in the game that make getting sick a little unavoidable, which I think is really great.
Okay.
But it's still easy to deal with.
I mean, I'm assuming eating rotten food is a bad idea, and I'm just not doing that.
I mean the pawn sickness.
Oh yeah, that hasn't happened yet either.
Yeah. What's really fun is that, do you know what you want to hear? What the best way to protect yourself from pawneria is? Hire high-level pawns and keep them for a while. The less pawns you hire,
the less chance you have. The less chance you are to get sick. Oh, so it comes in with a new pawn?
So there's 2 ways you can.
I assumed it was my pawn coming back with it.
There's 3 ways you can get it. You know the Drakes? I'm sure you fought one.
I sure did.
Okay. They can pick up your pawn and infect them.
Ow!
Like their grab attack makes your pawn sick.
I'm glad I ran.
The second way is that your pawn can come back with it by catching it from somebody else's pawn.
Yes,
the rift.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And then the third one is that you know what? I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
There's a third one.
Yeah. To be fair, like the second one I assumed would be the case, like a random unlucky thing. The first one that I was fully gonna get fucking rocked by at some point. But yeah. All right.
Because we are using pawns that are highly popular. The likelihood of Big Page or Wooly coming back sick is extremely high.
I'm certain. I'm also not sure. So far, all they've said is, "Damn, hope we don't get that. We'll have to keep an eye out."
That's crazy.
But
I had one.
Okay.
I had one that was sick.
Because I'm just going like, "Yo, toss them in the fucking river. We just brine these fuckers or what?" Like, what are they? Yeah. Okay. Bath. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The instant any of them start to act up or be weird, the whole party dead. Kill them.
Redo.
You can't be too careful.
Start from scratch.
Yeah, and here's the fun part. When your pawn dies, to the point where they have to go back to the rift and you have to bring them back out of the rift, they recognize and they're like, oh, man, I died. And they have a scar somewhere on their body every time that happens.
Interesting. I've just gotten, oh man, I'm such a fucking loser. God damn it. Sorry I died. Oh, fuck. Also, I saw an article that was like, hey, Itsuno's like, yeah, we're working really hard on making pawns not say the same things over and over again. That was really annoying in Dark Dragon's Dogma 1. Uh-huh. Yeah? Was it?
Oh, man. You.
Jesus Christ, guys.
I would say that pawns repeat themselves about 5 times less than they used to.
Fuck.
Except when they see a fucking ladder.
I suppose it leads somewhere. And I've already been up the ladder, by the way. I've already been there. I know.
So in Dragon's Dogma 1, encountering enemies or hitting certain parts of the level would cause them to say something every time. And they only had 3 or 4 things to say about any given enemy or any given spot. So you heard that shit all the time. In Dragon's Dogma 2, they seem to actually like to talk about like their pawn history or like the Arisen history or like the makeup of your party.
Yeah.
Because it's pulling from not like the spot you're standing. It's pulling from something else, right? Except for ladders. Because when you get within a certain fucking radius of a ladder, they go, oh, a ladder. Whoa.
I once had an Arisen that only hired me for half a day. That's
crazy.
That's wrong. We'll never get anything done at this rate.
Yeah.
It is our duty to follow.
Dragon's Dogma experience right now.
What do you mean to gain from this, Arisen? I'm trying to save you from not falling off the cliff, Paige.
Oh, hey, listen.
Jesus Christ.
I did an escort mission and the guy just fell right off the cliff, and I was like, well, I guess
yeah.
I'm glad I did that guy's quest first.
I mean, spoiler alert, she fell anyways, and then I was like, oh God. And then I ran and then I ran to the bottom of the cliff to administer CPR.
Yeah.
And then when I ran to the bottom of the cliff, she teleported to the top of the cliff.
Yeah, that's my day-to-day.
And I'm like, but your body was at the bottom of the cliff, and I just took a while to push to get around. Bullshit.
That game's so awesome. I love it so much. I love it so much.
You said it's not poking with a stick to get to level 25, but I disagree.
It's not.
I am still aggressively poking with that stick.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is like you poked it good.
I might be currently performing surgery with 2 sticks.
Yeah, no, there's even from like a perspective of you don't love this game like I do, but there's like it's like why is it weird? Like if I do this,
what is that?
What? Why?
How aggressive is the palace going to care about me wearing armor versus me wearing...
I don't know. Why is the game? The first game was exactly the same way. There's like 3 or 4 stealth missions, despite the game having no stealth system of any kind.
I didn't chance it, but I was really curious. I'm like, if I take my helmet off, is that going to matter?
I ran up to the fucking the countess, and she was like, "Hey."
Yeah. Same.
And I'm like, didn't you fucking kidnap me and put me in like a fucking slave encampment? You're not even okay.
But then,
sure.
But then the kid knows it's you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
going in both games, going into the castle is like the shittiest part of the game by far. Hey, you know what? You want to hear something really strange? I'm talking to people who've already beaten it. The game has no level scaling of any kind in New Game Plus. So you go into New Game Plus and there's like new mechanics for upgrading your character, but like you're one-shotting literally every single enemy.
The enemies don't get stronger?
No.
What?
Why? I don't know. That's so weird.
Someone says you could romance Diza.
Yeah, you can.
That's fucking batch. What is this game?
Anyone
What
you can
the
talk
fuck
to
is-
in the whole game, you can romance.
Including the fucking villain. Yeah, okay.
Oh, bro, when in Dragon's Dogma 1, because of the way there's an end game quest worked, you could accidentally end up like with your beloved being like an 8-year-old girl.
Oh, sick.
And the cutscenes would be like, "I love you, 8-year-old girl. Let's go to bed." And it was like, "Oh fuck."
They the jank, it's so like it's a jank that screams not enough QA is what it is.
But they were done this for so long.
I know.
And it's like it's the same game
It
again.
doesn't-
It's so weird.
It doesn't. I don't because this is like where teams drop polish on top of big open things where it's too much.
It's so weird. Dude, this is the same team that fucking did Devil May Cry 5.
God,
And
man.
it's like for every square foot outside of the corridor, it gets janker.
They when you fall asleep on a cart and then wake up as you're pulling into town, it gives you a solid minute to get off that cart and wander around, because if you wait long enough, depending on where the cart parks itself, it might just block all the NPCs from leaving or going past it.
It might do that
because it's parking diagonally across the one access way. God, yeah. All right.
So there's and I'm gonna say this with a degree of certainty, there is a extremely high likelihood that there is a expansion for this coming within the year.
Okay. So that was a fucking Dragon's Dogma cast. That was very big, long segment. We do have other things to cover, but
I gotta pee.
Yeah,
Let's
let's take a break and get to it. All right, we're back. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Whom I love.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Raycon. These are the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, the solution to getting the wires out of your life with some high quality, but inexpensive compared to other premium audio brand wireless earbuds. So yeah, we've been using these quite a bit over here. Again, I know the as I've mentioned quite a bit, Punch Bomb is using them right now as we speak.
You can see her.
And I got my own pair as well, and rock the. You get your gel tips that are customized and comfortably fitting in your ear. They're not gonna move around if you're using them to work out. If you're gonna go boxing, for example, and you want to shuffle around a bit, it's perfect for that. And you're getting 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours battery life, so you don't have to worry about them running out on you. And most importantly, you don't have wires wrapped up everywhere, threatening everything that crosses their paths. Bad.
Like I accidentally pulled the wire out of my headphones earlier in this podcast and missed like 10 seconds of what you were saying. That wouldn't have happened if I would have gone totally wireless.
Terrible. So get in on that. 3 customizable sound profiles, earbud tap functions. You can take calls with it, of course. It's got awareness mode and noise isolation. So go to buyraycon.com/superbeast today to get 20% off your Raycon order plus free shipping. That's right, you'll get 20% off plus free shipping at buyraycon.com/superbeast. BUYRAYCON.com/superbeast. Thanks, Raycon.
Thanks, Raycon.
This week, the podcast is also sponsored by ExpressVPN. You know the deal. It is dangerous out there on the internet. And
that internet's crazy, man. You got to be careful on that their internet.
Yeah. So let's see here. Have you ever browsed in incognito mode?
Never.
It's not once. Well, if you have, it's probably not as incognito as you think. And why would that be?
That's so threatening. Do you know what I use incognito mode for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I use it to ask the internet questions that are so stupid that if Paige saw them in the search bar, she'd be like, why did you have to look that up?
That's great. I legitimately use it when I want to see an unbiased search result that's not based on, previous things on YouTube or other like pushed results. That is great. However, for whatever your purposes might be, the Chrome browser in and of itself is a Google product, and Google has made a fortune by tracking your movements online. There's even a $5 billion class action lawsuit against them in California, where they're accused of secretly collecting user data. Their defense was incognito does not mean invisible. So, how do you actually protect yourself and make yourself invisible online? You use ExpressVPN, which is, can help you against...
My favorite VPN service is what it is.
Help you against data harvesters that identify your location using IP. It's going to mask you and get everything on your connection rerouted through an encrypted server. So you get a random IP address, and it's going to not just mask where you're at, but if you can put it on the Wi-Fi level, anyone who's connected to you can also get the same. And it's very easy to use. You just hit it, one button, and whether it's on your phone, your laptop, or your TV, with one button, you are connected and protected. So there you go. If you really want to go incognito and protect your privacy, secure yourself with the #1 rated VPN. Visit expressvpn.com/superbeast and get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. Go to expressvpn.com/superbeast to learn more. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
I love you, ExpressVPN.
All right.
Bro, you want to talk about soft ground wrestling Uganda?
No, there's a couple other things because I mean, Dragon's Dogma and Balatro are
Okay,
very.
I just have one thing to say.
Yeah,
You know how Lord White died?
Lord White is dead.
Okay, no, he's not, because it's Easter Monday, and he just crawled out of his grave doing the white hand symbol.
Oh. But then they beat up Jesus.
He's back from the dead.
I saw soft ground like Jesus was on the cross and everyone was very sad, and then the soft ground wrestlers did a Marvel 3 style sequence of finishing moves on the Lord and Savior.
I literally just watched his fucking undead white hand come out with a W fucking hand symbol like this.
Damn.
Screaming, ah! And it's like, mainstream wrestling is too cowardly to kill a character in the dirt and have them come back to life.
Mainstream wrestling is too cowardly to get a kayfabe racist who works himself into a shoot.
Great. It's great.
How convincing, right? Why go for kayfabe when you can get someone that really doesn't like black people?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about pro wrestlers, I don't imagine it would be too hard to find one.
Yeah, well, you know. I mean, listen. There's preying on the fears of everybody by having "We Are the Nation of Domination" blaring through the speakers and a bunch of people walking Nation of Islam style out to the ring. And then there's this guy who's just got some opinions, you know? Anyway. So yeah, I guess just because we're a couple of things real quick. Balatro and Dragon's Dogma 2 definitely continued, but that aside, I cracked open Blaze Blue Entropy Effect.
What is that?
So that's something I've been meaning to get around to and got bumped forward a bunch, but it is the Blaze Blue roguelite platform like action game. So Dead Cells with Blaze Blue Blue characters.
Shut your fucking mouth. I have to go look at this now. I don't believe you.
Okay, well that's what it is. It is Dead Cells with Blaze Blue characters that you unlock.
Oh my god, it just uses the fucking sprite. Oh god, this looks so weird.
It's not the same sprites, but
okay, really? Because they look really similar.
They're doing a lot of the moves and they're doing a lot of they're the characters, so they're doing all the things you recognize. But it's not cut and dropped in like Guilty Gear Dust Strikers, for example, where you played the fucking terrible pace job there, or Guilty Gear Judgment. But yeah, it's basically a Blaze Blue themed, roguelite, and you pick, instead of, you know how you get like weapons in Dead Cells? And instead of weapons, it's the character. So
okay, sure.
Yeah, so you get Hakumen, and with Hakumen you have you have his basic combo and some aerials and some lows, and then his big counter special. And then, like, as you progress, you unlock more of the recognizable special moves. But in addition to that, you're gaining, the abilities you would get on a run through Hades, where it's like,
oh, weird.
When you dash, you get iframes, and you create a blade behind you. Every couple seconds.
Hades really just made that move, and now everybody got, like, the Ares power set got cribbed by everybody.
Yep. When you wait a couple seconds, a giant ice summon sword fract thing well it's actually more like Jin, but a little ice shard will shoot out and auto target your enemies. And then as you progress through this thing where healing, you get a couple heals, but sometimes you have to go into a random room and roll the dice to see what you get. In between each room you get an upgrade. What's it going to be? Build out your Hades build.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get to fight, hey look, it's Arakune as a big boss.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Fight full stage Arakune, and then you lose, and then you get to run it again, but you get to keep the memory of the character, and you get like 2 or 3 of their build buffs that you can like carry forward the next time. The weirdest part about it is that all of that has nothing to do lore-wise with what's going on, as far as I know so far, with the actual BlazBlue story. It is a future where you're controlling a robot who's like downloading and running like Ragnar the Blood Edge.exe, and then you're now running a program and like modifying its stats and as you progress. But it's not actually, it doesn't seem to be the actual characters. But there's a TV screen where you see Ragnar standing there and some actual BlazBlue shit's happening on a TV. But
I'm using my cyber elves that just happen to look like BlazBlue characters.
Yeah. You're those are projections, and then the real you is just BJ from 13 Sentinels. It's a little cute robot running around a little environment talking to other robots, and they're trying to steer you towards the truth. You know, that's all fine and dandy. And there's even a little like speaking of the truth, there's even you remember Assassin's Creed where you'd collect pieces of the truth?
Yeah.
And then the videos comes together to reveal the full thing at the end there. There's a little bit of that going on where you're piecing together these little lore videos about what the entropy effect is and so on.
What is it? What could it be?
It seems to be some sort of, apocalyptic magic degradation disease particle thing that
sure.
Whatever. If you tuned in and you don't know the events of Chrono Phantasma,
Chinese.
The dev is, yes. If you tune in and you don't know about what happened to the Black Beasts after the time loop occurred,
nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened.
And the Grimoire, that's fine. All you need to do is go, hey, it's Noelle, and she's doing the gun katas.
She has her hat and her gun.
She does the what's the fucking equilibrium. She does the equilibrium, and that's cool. So and you know what? As far as it being a Dead Cells like roguelite goes, it's not bad. It's all right. It's not as good, certainly. Dead Cells has got more going.
Well, that's like
for sure.
It's kind of unfair. Dead Cells had like 25 years of development,
but this is pretty fun. The combat system is, it feels like you as you unlock more with your character, you get the ability to put together a decent build and kind of fight and do stylish things. It's very aesthetically reminiscent of Icy as well. That old similar looking 2D action platformer. But yeah, it's not bad as far as these go. If you're someone who's like just a fan of the characters and you're like, oh, like one of my mains is playable here, and I want to.
Oh, it's not the whole cast.
It's not the whole cast. It seems to. I mean, it's not. It's not 68 characters. Unfortunately, like no, there is no Jubei. But it's got, a lot of the big hits. Sadly, no Bang Shishigami either. But
that feels like a big missed opportunity. But
yeah, but it's got Ragnar, Jin, Noelle.
It got Tager.
No Tager.
Not gonna play it.
Nah, well. But yeah, and it's got I think like 8 or so. Tao Kaka's in there, so if you want, a Tao Kaka to show up and yell about booby lady, you can do that.
Yeah. Yes.
There's like a build. There's like
I could just play Calamity Trigger if I want to do that.
You sure can. Squirrel Girl Makoto not present. Yada yada. All your no Susanoo. But anyways, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's kind of a fun one. I might go a little bit further. Just the main thing I guess I kind of want to do is I'm like, okay, I would want to max out Hakumen and just like pick a character, max out that character if you care about seeing how they play, and then that'd be the extent of it, if anything.
Hakumen's in there. I like Hakumen.
Hakumen's cool, and he does the parry.
How come Jin gets to be there twice?
Well, because one is the Jin that is infected by Terumi when Hazama has made him evil as a kid, but then the other one is the one who gets to break the cycle by defeating the Black Beast when Ragnar falls into the cauldron in 2199.
I feel like talking to somebody who has played BlazBlue when I have also played BlazBlue sounds the same as me telling someone who's never seen Evangelion about Evangelion. Like, it feels like, despite the fact that we have both played BlazBlue, it feels about the same level of impenetrable.
I played Calamity Trigger when it dropped and got my understanding of most of the story kind of stopped there.
Continuum Shift also.
As far as like getting what was happening in that story goes, when a brand new fighting game drops, it's my responsibility to get in there. So that's certainly what I did when BlazBlue was the new fighter on the scene, and I got what I could from the storyline and with multiple characters and routes to piece together the whole visual novel thing.
Yeah, I'm looking back and I'm like, did I just play BlazBlue so that I could feel again the fucking old Sagat Zangief matchup? Was that why I played that game? Because Nu versus Tager is like the worst matchup in fucking anything ever.
I mean, yeah, I mean, so you say, but then you can take your Naoto versus Kanji. You can play that in 15 different ways.
Nothing in Persona's fucking Tager versus Nu 13. Oh my god, that fucking bitch.
Although, I mean, if you talk to the Tager mains I know, they'll usually be like, yeah, you got the magnetism, but he's not Potemkin, so fucking whatever. Mm-hmm. You know. Doesn't matter. He's not there. But yeah, that's the entropy effect. It's not too bad. The other thing was ABBA in Guilty Gear Strive. Did some ABBA-ing and what's happening in Guilty Gear Strive is awesome in terms of like, you know how back in Street Fighter V, I remember every time a new DLC character came out post season 3 or so, they all had like a lot of attention to detail. They started getting like way more awesome, just the assets, the amount of stuff,
had
the
really
animation.
Weird have and have not thing going on.
Quality was incredible. I think one of the earliest I remember moments was when you saw Cody come out, and after every attack, he had a little unique animation for tightening up his tie.
Cody got a lot of love.
You know, like stretching his arm out, little post animation things, and that was really cool. Some of that started mid season 3, I want to say, yeah. Well, anyway, in Guilty Gear Strive, each new character has a win pose that is fucking amazing and better than the original rosters got. Elfelt with her fucking death scream was the sickest win pose ever, and now Abba's goes even further with her grabbing Paracelsus and jumping into a pocket reality where he's there with her forever. It's super duper cool. Was it Zeku that started that? Yeah, I somewhere in that. Okay, Zeku must have been the first. Yeah,
because Zeku was
sounds about
two
right.
characters.
Fine. Yeah, that sounds about right. I just remember it wasn't the first season of DLC.
It's really hard to remember Street Fighter V. That seems like a lifetime ago. Guile
and Alex were the first characters that came to that, I think, yeah. Anyway, so in this case, yeah, you get all of that going on. You get like how fun her like the difference between Abba in Jealous Rage mode and regular mode is. Just visually, there's a lot going on, like with her face and the moves, the presentation, the way she crouches and still holds on to the key. You know, it's pretty cool. And yeah, just using her, the feeling I get is, and the best way to describe what it's like is when she is in her default mode, you are controlling Jamie minus 2 drinks. And when you switch to Jealous Rage mode, you're switching to Jamie plus 6 drinks.
Okay, I got you.
She's so much worse than bad when she's in her normal state, and when she switches over, she's unbelievable.
Hakan is back.
Way more extreme than Hakan.
That's actually super wild.
Way more extreme than Hakan, way more extreme than Jury, more extreme than just about anyone that has the like feast or famine style of play. It's crazy. Her run speed, her moves, the range they get, the ability to just touch and explode you with damage, how oppressive and terrifying she is. And then, of course, there's the part where it runs out and she goes back to being bad. But it's you have she has a move where she kind of like pushes the key into you, turns it, and then unlocks Jealous Rage. But like if you don't get a combo into that after a couple seconds of trying to get something going, you can just go fuck it and just switch into it anyways manually. You know, it's like when the game plan fails, you just go all right, all or nothing, and get back in there. So yeah, but she's got some clear issues. Yeah, the key grab, the range is really bad on it, but in exchange for that, when someone blocks it, you get to act first. So it's very plus on block, you know. Anyways, ABBA pretty cool, all things considered. And yeah, going back to that game as well, it was fun to try that out, but I've firmly locked in that I'm like, my secondary, even though I'm like, I have a bike in that I pulled together, it's gonna be the fucking cards, man. Aska is too much fun to play. And I played a lot more of him since last time I tried, and I finally have wrapped my brain around what you're supposed to do. I have the game plan. I have
you know why, right? Mm-hmm. You know why you can play Asuka.
Why?
And why your brain is there.
Why?
You've been playing fucking Balatro.
Because of Balatro. Exactly.
It's the same thing.
So I now understand how to build Exodia and play it. I get it now. And when it happens, it's not a checkmate, but it sure is check. It is a near checkmate, but you've got to get lucky, but I've got to get lucky too. And one of the funnest things about it, as I'm playing this fucking insane card character, where I'm not even looking at what you're doing, I'm just looking at where I'm at, and I'm looking at my life, and I'm looking at my hand. You're a fucking third party to the card game that's happening with me and Aska right now. And when I have a bad hand, I'm like, oh, I'm dead. But the person I'm fighting doesn't know that I'm dead because they don't know what my cards mean.
So maybe you're not dead yet.
So maybe I'm not dead. There are so many moments where I'm super like, oh, if I get attacked right now, the round is done. Because in addition to like the whole searching for cards aspect of him is the mana, where I talked about it last time, but anytime he does something, it costs magic. And
right.
The only way to get magic back is by sacrificing life, super meter, or just standing there and waiting. Mm-hmm. And it takes forever. You can speed it up a little bit with he's got spells for charging, or you can just wait and it'll come back. But it's so long that it's not practical. No one's gonna stand there and let you heal. So you got to find your ways to like sacrifice your life. And like when the fight is going well, I'm like near death, like pulling my own life. You know, like there's no such thing as a perfect. Like I'm doing insane shit, and I'm pulling myself down to like 10% to make it happen. You know, but I like.
So what I'm hearing is Balatro plus Dragon's Dogma equals knowing how to play Asuka in
Guilty Gear Strive. Sure. It's so much stupid fun. There's so much that is just like, yeah, if only you knew what my hand meant right now, you would know that I'm dead.
Do you still have moments where you're like, if only either of us knew what my hand meant right now?
Absolutely, because Exodia consists of switching to your third deck of cards, getting a card that makes it so that you replenish your mana, so that you can play cards more often. You're finding another card that makes it so that the moment you play a card, it gets auto replaced with a next card. And then with those two working in congruence with each other, spamming everything and just shooting that shit out, right? And while you're shooting shit out, you're paying attention for a staff, which will which will allow all the cubes to start floating in circles and doing bullshit in ways where you don't know. And then you're looking for teleporters so that while the screen is full of shit, you can teleport behind them and back. And that's what you're doing, right? You're setting up these 3 conditions, and then the conditions start, and then you keep searching as you spam. You know, you're just going like, I don't know what's oh, there it is. I don't know what's gonna there it is. All right. And and it's just like, oh my god, game done, fucking KO, like slash, you know, random bullshit go, except every once in a while in the middle of the random bullshit, your eye twinkles red where you're like, there it is, you know. But it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I like the ability to say that I have a main, which is Nago Ryuki, 1 brain cell, spin to win, pop blood, be stupid, go.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, I have Asuka, who's hoarding
just just polar opposites.
All the remaining brain cells are over on Asuka's side. Yes, exactly. That's a whole lot of fun.
It kind of reminds me of the way people describe playing Blanca. Like the distance between I'm just pressing buttons, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing complicated set play here, man.
I mean, I just saw Wolfgang, shout outs, fucking, you know, the other Blanca fucking professor, do a dash into crouch, command hop to air ball backwards to uncross up after crossing up the person, so that it looks like they have to block back the opposite way, but the ball comes back to the front, so they actually were supposed to like, you got crossed up.
Stop it. Stop it.
And
that's too much.
Yeah. Like, we're only human, man. We're only human. And that is screen specific, position specific Blanca tech that was labbed and practiced, so that when that happened and everyone freaked out, it was like, oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I meant to happen. Insane, you know? Anyways, whole lot of fun. And the new stage is really cool as well in Gear to Gear. It's Heaven's Edge from Exert came back, and it looks pretty sick. The new song is fun. It's very... it's got that Queen style, jumping all over the place, melody, and it's good that Strive has fucking still got fun shit coming out for it. So hell yeah. Beyond that, last thing I was gonna say is X-Men 97 continues to be incredible.
Oh man,
fucking great. I love the hyper condensation of running like the entire Madeline Pryor arc in like 1.5 episodes.
Hey, let me ask you a real quick question. Why is her name Madeline Pryor? Where's that come from? I looked it up and couldn't figure it out.
I'm not sure, but I just know that that's what she's
going to be. Jean's middle name.
I'm not sure. Like but I just know that back in the day that was the clone Jean and Goblin Queen.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you get your Nate Summers cable set up and all that. But then she continues to be evil much longer into the future, instead of the way this plays out where it ends up being fine. So yeah, I can't tell you.
Gonna leave and just be kind of a bitch.
Yeah, and there's massive gaps in my Chris Claremont X-Men run era, but this is fucking just fun and awesome.
Man, we dealt with Cable in fucking 22 minutes. That was crazy. Like just fast, as fast as it can go.
I even the weird like outfit that Magneto's wearing with the shoulders exposed.
It's super weird.
That's coming from an old cover from when.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a reference to an old comic. Anytime you see an outfit like that, you know that's what it is. You know that's coming from somewhere.
Like the X-Men 97 is pretty great. I did not expect the level of animation blending, showing off Nightmare Thing shit. That was in that third episode.
Yeah.
That was really impressive.
Shout outs to some real nightmare horror moments. Yeah, like it, and like also like just it that's the kind of thing where you're like, if this were 1996 or 5 or whenever this came out, that would have scarred me and that would have stuck with me.
That would have fucked us all up real good.
Yeah, flesh horror would have absolutely.
No, not cared. No.
Anyway, X-Men 97, fucking great.
It's good. I don't know where the fuck they're gonna go from here because a bunch of shit's happened already.
And it's happening at the pace of insane batshit X-Men 92, right?
Same thing with like the Spider-Man shit.
What's going on? Fuck the Shi'ar Empire.
We're gonna do Doc Ock's entire rise and fall between the commercials.
In between commercial breaks, yeah. Exactly that. No time, go. So yeah, this week gonna continue. I got some. We're gonna be a bit busy, but some of the days we're going to be taking a look at Double Dragon Gaiden. Got a sponsored stream coming up for that, and I also wanted to take a look at Rise of the Ronin, so we're going to be taking a look at that as well. Hearing some cool things.
I'm also hearing some cool things.
So yeah, that's over on Wooly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube. And yeah, Yakuza as well. Man, that final cabaret battle is fucking intense.
Isn't that game awesome? Isn't that? And I don't mean Yakuza 0. I mean Cabaret
Club Czar.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's getting real. I'm starting to min-max my tech where I'm learning about tricks. Like as soon as someone sits down, pause the game and like switch to another girl so that you can allow the animation of sitting down to play out in the stopped time, and then resume time so that the timer for money will be as optimized and min-maxed as possible.
It's nice to see you getting like your whole leg in. I'd say your feet wet, but no, your whole legs are in there of like this nonsense of like, so we're gonna have this one-off mini game, and it's gonna be a full game, just over here. Just over here on the side, if you feel like it. Like I haven't been back to Donko Island because it intimidates me.
Right. Yeah,
it's too much.
So yeah, over on Wooly Versus, that's what's going on.
Over at Pat Stares At, it's back to Infinite Wealth now that I speak of it. And on Friday, me and Paige are gonna get back to Pat Beats his wife at video games, and we're gonna be playing L.A. Noire. We're still on the murder desk, if I remember correctly. So go check that out over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
Okay. So yeah,
what's new in the world?
What's new in the world? Well, how about this, man? How about the most blatant, who gives a fuck, shameless, we're making our own goddamn Overwatch, Marvel Rivals.
Bro, China doesn't give a shit.
So NetEase, and first of all, everyone, NetEase notorious for being like, we don't give a fuck. That's you made this.
There's another thing.
I made this.
So I went and looked it up, and it's like it's been in development for a couple of years. Dude, I think this game started getting worked on like when fucking Blizzard got kicked out of China.
I believe it. I
think this is specifically a Overwatch replacement.
I would not be surprised if Marvel got the bidding or bidded in, whichever way that went, for we want our characters in a hero shooter. Because like, yes, there's some Fortnite to the aesthetic of what you're seeing in third person as well. But like when you make this type of hero shooter 6v6, it doesn't have to have the Overwatch font. But yet it does. It doesn't have to have the
these look like fucking Overwatch costume, like
the outfits, the art style,
the outfits,
the lighting, the environment, the icons in the corner to say that your ult is ready.
Oh, it has the same hit sound effect.
It's crazy. Like you don't have to do that. The game could just be its own, but no. We don't want you to think for a second that you're not looking at Overwatch. We want you to feel Overwatch, but now there's Spider-Man and Hulk.
Yeah, which, hey, that's cool.
Hey,
you know what? I've been interacting with enough of these games for long enough. Chinese anime art style. I am a massive fucking mark for that specific, like the
Yeah.
Genshin, the Honkai, and
Okay.
now this. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like my favorite Iron Man design.
Interesting. Okay.
I love it.
I think it works. It works for some characters. Well, like Doctor Strange certainly fits into like that aesthetic. He looks like he always looked that way, you know. But for as the other bit is, and this is you can predict for me, third person is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
I love seeing the characters at all times. That's great. It's really cool to just
Now,
feel like you're
before
watching
we
a replay.
continue,
You know.
there are some artists that said that they were working on that game, saying that they were doing trial pieces.
Yes.
For weeks and weeks and weeks.
So
before getting fired from their internship or whatever the fuck it was.
So what it sounds like is yes, there's an artist that was working, and there's probably others as well who were brought in to do trial. To do a trial run and see if they could produce a piece under the direction of whatever they were being given. And in this case, the person was working on it for weeks, like you said, and then not paid for that work. And it's not uncommon to have test trials for someone to be like, hey, are you a good fit for this project or so? But the idea of it,
like a singular piece of art or your portfolio, not like work in the office.
But the idea of this being, like you're taking direction from an actual team lead on where and how to do things, and then that's still under the trial thing, and then you don't get paid for that work that's goofy shit. Trials that go on for that prolonged period of time are going beyond the trial.
Also of much more significant note to most people listening to this, NetEase makes a lot of games of wildly varying quality.
Well, are they not amongst the most like just greedy and awful with microtransactions and like just anti?
No, but I'm saying that the actual games underneath those wildly varying quality also.
Okay.
Because they make a lot. You go to their webpage, there's like 40 games on there, and I have not heard of 2/3 of those. And some of them I have, and some of them I have. So this is a big fat question mark, but it's got that Marvel on it, and it looks like it's got money in it. So who knows?
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah. I saw something where it's like almost like the 3 Bs. There's a 3 Ns, but it's, I mean, not quite, because it's NetEase, Nexon, and then I guess Tencent.
Yeah,
but not quite. NC Soft for milking players with their shit. Nexon or something to that effect, right? Anyway,
that trailer's hot. I signed up for the closed alpha and all that shit. I'd like to take a look at it. It looks cool.
Yeah, the same. And the idea of this coming in right when Overwatch is doing what it's doing, it's like the timing couldn't be better on that, where they're like, here it is. And
me and Paige are convinced that trailer got cut together in the minutes following the announcement of Overwatch's PvE cancellation.
Or it was waiting for the next fucking slip.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Just wait.
Upload the video and leave it unlisted.
Just make it public. We got him.
That's all it took. Yeah.
Because the timing was like immediate. It was within like 24 hours of the cancellation of Overwatch 2 single player.
Crazy. And it makes sense too that, like, of course Marvel, who's going into whatever space they can with this shit, is gonna, they took a crack at Snap, and they took a crack at all these other things. Like, yeah, they're gonna get into that fucking Overwatch, that Fortnite space, of course. Fortnite is also not even Fortnite anymore, right? Fortnite is now a platform like Roblox. It's become.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's become less about shoot and gentrify, and more about like, hey, there's a concert happening. Hey, there's a new tie-in for a new thing that has a completely game-changing thing, and it's become so much more than just.
Fortnite is where I do Gangnam Style after I shoot the kids at the wall.
chicken dinner has become the least of its priorities. So, yes, and of course the part where it's like, hey, it's 6-on-6 again. Ah.
You know, I hadn't really thought too strongly about that. It never really jumped out at me as like a big deal. And then when I saw people talking about Marvel Rivals in 6v6, I saw some people describing that them and their group of friends all had to stop playing Overwatch entirely because they had a group of 6 friends that all hung out and played Overwatch. And then they moved it to 5 and had to do this awful juggling of who gets to play today.
Rotate around or someone gets dumped.
That's fucking stupid.
Also, remember the years and years of speculation on what a Marvel versus Capcom version of a Marvel character's kit would look like?
Yes.
Now just throw that into an Overwatch game.
Do it.
Take your entire binder of Fleer Ultra Marvel cards and Marvel Masterpiece cards and go through and find random characters like Mojo and try to think about what that would look like on a stage or as a playable character.
Like Mojo Jojo?
No, Mojo, as in like big Mojo.
Yeah,
with
that's the weird guy from Future World.
Yeah,
not the Powerpuff Girls, but why did I think Powerpuff Girls villain?
You were thinking of Mojo Jojo, but yeah. And you're like, oh, we're gonna put MODOK in? Cool. So what's MODOK's kit gonna look like? What do we and you get to do that for the entire fucking Marvel universe. And then every possible costume is all the secret wars version of this and Hulkbuster suits and
that's great. Yeah, do that.
It's everything. It's all there. It's all ready to go. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that looks. All right. I
would like to play that game.
I am curious as well. In the meantime, if we take a look over at the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things, we could have jumped into this from the cards. Otherwise,
hey Wooly,
yes,
you've been playing a lot of Balatro.
I've been playing a lot of Balatro.
You've been playing a lot of Asuka and Guilty Gear.
Yes, I have.
So you could stand to learn how to play some Yu-Gi-Oh.
I might even win some money if I get good enough.
Yeah. So when would you go down to Japan and take place in the tournament there?
Apparently it's not going to happen. But with this, there's the story and then there's the clarification, but I don't know where we're at now. Apparently, there was a ruling that said no foreigners are allowed to play in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Japan Championship qualifiers, even if they're permanent residents of Japan.
Or citizens.
So it said Japanese nationals only, to which it was like, so it's an anti-gaijin rule, but if you are actually you are a citizen of Japan and you're living there and and you are not Japanese, it might be describing you. And I saw, again, I don't know if this is.
We all know who was going to get turned away.
I don't know if this is there's a basis to this or not. But in that discussion, I saw people were saying that they believe the reason why this happened was because the previous tournaments had a number of foreigners compete and dominate the entire top rankings.
I was also told that, yeah.
So
is that the top 8 last time around was exclusively non-Japanese foreigners.
So this must have been in response to that happening.
People in the chat are saying that they do this for DDR as well.
I see. So there was also some discussion, though, that someone was saying that translation was not accurate. There was another way that it was worded that seemed to imply that eligibility to participate is limited to those who have an address in Japan at the time of advance reservation, and are Japanese nationals, I guess. But like, there's a debate as to whether or not the translation is implying that someone who is born in Japan or like living in Japan or is a citizen but not of Japanese origin is allowed or is banned from that. Like, do they give you an eyeball and go, no?
They might. You don't know.
I don't.
You aren't there. You don't know what they're doing.
I don't know if that's actually implying that you get measure headed. In which case, hey, well, you could hire me to hire me to take a look at whoever comes through. And it's like, that's crazy. That's nuts. If that's actually what's happening, but I think we're gonna need a better translation and such to get to the bottom of what that actually means. But if it's
you know what, I'll allow for an extremely minor benefit of the doubt. I bet it's not as bad as it looks. I bet it is slightly better than it looks. Right? Like I bet it is marginally better than the version we are describing now.
I mean, if it is as simple as you need to be living in Japan and or have an address, then that is not as bad as you cannot be the wrong shade of color. that is decidedly much better. But anyways, that's happening on one side. Meanwhile, over here, Harada is like, why all this noise about Waffle House now?
So I was so happy. So somebody put a big old picture of a Waffle House and said, hey, Harada-san of Tekken, could you please include Waffle House as a stage in Tekken? It would be really cool. And Harada goes, hey, what's up with the deal with Waffle House?
Many people have asked Harada for Waffle House at this point.
But then, he focused in on this one. And I was like, wow, that's funny. Haha. And then I checked it later in the day. And I was like, oh, we're cooking with gas here. Because I thought that was going to be like, oh, that's a cute little interaction, but nothing's going to happen. And then I'm scrolling past like 100,000 likes.
Oh, no. This is not a cute interaction. This is a gag that's been in the FGC that people have been talking about for a long time. This is like
undeniable super visibility on social media.
Because there's a moment where the guy making the game is actually like, wait a minute, do you actually want this? And we've had real discussions going, how fucking sick would it be, right? Now, the update, of course, is that he says, hey, guys, well, first of all, why? What is this? What does this mean? What is the, like, I don't understand why people want this restaurant to be a stage in fighting Tekken.
That does not translate culturally for shit.
Right?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Like, just like imagine like you people just, imagine they like, no, and in front of a Lawson, actually, we need to have a big Tekken stage right here. Make it happen. But in any case, the explanation was then, multiple people gave their bits on it, and then yes, the picture I tweeted out with me and Reggie in front of the Waffle House squaring up in Florida got retweeted, and a couple of people saw that, and Harada updated and went, thank you for your explanation. Of course, please understand that the proposal is to be rejected or accepted by the people who own the brand. It's a license, after all. And
of course.
And this is where it's like, this is the first thing I thought. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Your court now, Waffle House.
Now, Waffle House is the kind of company that would probably be super down with their crazy disaster index being used in some way, where Waffle House has never shut down, and if they do, something's horribly wrong. Please refer to the Waffle House disaster index to see if a hurricane is hitting your town and if Waffle House is still open.
If Waffle House is closed, 28 days later is happening outside your door.
Exactly. Which is, it's kind of nuts to be like, hey, if you work here, you've been prepared for battle, but also Twisters is happening outside, and we still expect you to show up. That's fucking nuts. But the whole bit with like everyone knows how to fight, everyone wants to see the stage wall break transition. I don't think the Waffle House brand marketing representative is going to be super down with the idea of you fight in our restaurant and then you break through a wall.
You can always do a highly similar looking location called Winston's Pancake Hut.
And this is where we get to Roger's Pancake's house, right?
Yeah.
You get Roger the kangaroo on the...
Yeah, Roger's fucking yeah, that's perfect.
Roger's Pancakes. Roger the kangaroo's got his little diner. It happens to have a big window you can bust through. And they love it when a fight starts in their restaurant. They're super down. You can even have someone in a Rogers the kangaroo mascot, like a Blanca-chan, hanging out, you know, or Kenny the crow.
Yeah, whatever. Just do it.
And then you just go, hey, if Waffle House ain't gonna do it, then we fucking do it anyways. So there's no reason why this shouldn't happen regardless. And Harada clearly being like, the fact that it's like, a lot of people are making noise about this kind of stage, let me actually write up a proposal and ask them for it. It's like, yeah, we're going to crowdsource content into Tekken. If you if you yell loud enough, you might actually get it.
You guys will put fucking Walking Dead characters in there?
Exactly.
Walking Dead characters have been to Waffle Houses.
That have been open during the zombie apocalypse.
Absolutely. They're the last things to close.
Shit. That's great. I like that there was a proposal and then we will see where this goes from here. And everyone, yes, we know that the incoming cowardice from Waffle House is undeniable. But what brand would want to be like, we love it when the fights break out, actually?
I don't know, a cool one?
And have a bunch of chairs in the restaurant that go flying to war over the counter, and then you could have the chefs just parry that shit.
Do you remember that, like, racing games had the shittiest damage model ever for like a decade?
Gran Turismo.
And they'd go to fucking whatever, and they'd be like, well, we don't want to show a Porsche damaged in a car crash.
We have official brands, but they will only agree if you cannot actually see the damaged car in the game. Yeah. And you're like, oh, look how realistic these cars are. Look at all the brands. I remember I was going to school with friends who were like, yo, Ferrari is in this game. Oh my God. And it's just like, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, over here in Burnout, they fucking pop off when you crash. They love that shit. They can't wait to see you explode into a fireball as you drift on fire around the corners, you know? Yeah. I remember that exact time, and I remember exactly that, like how weird it was when you could hit a track wall and like there's nothing happening because the brands don't want it, not because they couldn't do it at the time.
The absolute height of that nonsense was the Need for Speed game that was just Need for Speed Porsche, and it was only Porsche cars. I was like, who gives a shit about this?
Am I crazy, or like am I hallucinating a game where there were some licensed cars and some unlicensed, and the unlicensed ones could get damaged?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Like I'm not sure if that was a thing, but I feel like I'm remembering a some cars take damage and some don't moment.
That seems insane.
For back on PlayStation,
that seems completely insane.
And yeah, anyway, I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's goofy shit. I hope they do the right thing.
Come on, Waffle House, do the right thing.
Speaking of doing the right thing, how are Xbox players supposed to join a free company in Final Fantasy XIV?
All right, so we're going to start off with public service announcement. Public service announcement. If you are playing Final Fantasy XIV, I'm going to advise you not to use any Xbox interface exclusive groups, chats, messaging service of any kind, because people are getting banned for using in-game terms in those things, such as, hey, how do I join free company? Which is being met with like months-long bans on their service accounts.
And I guess, and the supposition here is that free company implies like, hey, like I can be your company for the night for free.
Maybe. On top of that, people have been, kind of looking a little more carefully because, Final Fantasy XIV is finally on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on? Well, the chat filter is so aggressive that it's impossible to understand what anyone is saying.
Mm-hmm.
It is looking for every possible combination of letters and little terms with spaces in them.
Yes.
So something like Harvest Dance has ST space D, and so you get it replaced with a bunch of question marks. People can't say. Somebody said was stuck doing raids. and the ASS from was stuck, and the AIDS from raids get question marked into nothing. So the sentence is unintelligible.
Actually, it's worse than unintelligible. It now makes that R word look like a completely different R word.
Oh yeah, it does.
Getting censored. So
hey, listen. Night Page was like a stunning moment in Dark Souls 2 history when someone attacked Page with a Dark Souls 2 character called Night Page, which came out asterisk HT space page. And we went, what? What is that? Oh, you can't be so aggressive.
Yep.
Can't be, because we were just like sitting there like you took the word night as in nighttime and you made it the most racist version of this character's name I can imagine. I've never... And that's what's happening here.
So here's what's cool. Here's a little piece of history. This has a name. It's called
the Scunthorpe problem.
The Scunthorpe problem, exactly. And there is a city in the UK, in England, called Scunthorpe. And it is spelled SCUNTHORPE. Back in the days of AOL, nobody from that town could register an account or get online because their entire thing was banned, because everywhere the aggressive filter obviously saw the C word in the middle of the town's name and blocked all access for people from there. It happened again years later with Google and its auto filters as well. So this has gone on to be a thing.
It's fun that you mentioned that, because the person who got all the attention from getting banned over saying the word free company was like, well, I appealed and was auto denied. And people are like, well, why is this happening right now? Oh, it's because Microsoft laid off most of their customer service department and AI is running
taking over
now.
There you go. We got to get through these requests somehow, some way.
When you get banned on your Xbox account, it takes all your games away. So this is like a massive problem. Like FF14 is like the use case right now because people talk and it's got weird terms. But like, oh, cool. Microsoft's customer service is running robots that just ban you for language, like regular language.
Well, the crazy part about it is that, like, I mean, obviously there's like this, So the Scunthorpe problem represents the stupidity of a filter that is not practical, that just does not have any edge cases, use cases, or consideration for real human usage of language. But
bro, there's a fucking region in FF14 called Thanalan that has the word anal being removed from it.
Yeah, right. But free company, like, you have to stretch and scratch your brain.
No, that's the best part, is everyone's like, what does this even
What does it mean? How is that? What about those words is even triggering the filter at all?
Don't know.
Christ.
So, like, I got X-Bob here next to me, my Xbox with googly eyes. He's doing a good job. So, like, this is a great time to segue over to an interview with Phil Spencer, in which he is like, I'm sad about capitalism. He says, I don't get the luxury of not having to run a profitable, growing business. And he basically, like, I'm going to sum it up. He's like, oh, it's really sucks that, you have to chase infinite growth, because I look around at GDC and all these people who lost their jobs. And it's like, you fucked them, Phil.
Yeah.
You just did the acquisition and then lied to the FTC and then fired all the people you said you were going to fire, you fucking prick.
So, yeah. So sorry, you mentioned this just before we started, but it's like, okay, so what is he saying here? Is he saying, I wish I could work on games where profit didn't matter and I can do art things, but instead I have to.
Okay.
Like, like I'm missing.
Whoa. when you have an industry that's projected to be smaller next year in terms of players and dollars, and you get a lot of publicly traded companies that are in the industry that have to show their investors growth, because why else does somebody own a share of somebody's stock if it's not going to grow? The side of the business that gets scrutinized is the cost side, because if you're not going to grow the revenue, then the cost side becomes challenged. If you can't grow by making more money, this is there. I don't get the luxury of not having to run a profitable, growing business inside of Microsoft.
I don't get let me just get that sentence. I don't get the luxury of getting to not run, because there's a double negative there.
Okay. So people are talking to him about layoffs because he lays the people off,
yes.
right? And he says, well, if we're not making any more money, we have to cut costs because we have to grow. And then he goes on to say, sitting here at GDC, I reflect on friends of mine in the industry that have been displaced and lost their jobs, and how just I don't want this industry to be a place where people can't, with confidence, build a career. So that's why I keep pivoting back to, how does this industry get back to growth? It's like you just spent infinity dollars on Activision and Blizzard.
Okay.
And then
so yeah, so he's blah. People are I have to lay people off because that's what the company demands of me. And
yeah, I have to make the company more money, and I spent the money on this stuff, so I have to make it up somehow.
My hands are tied.
It's really sad.
But my hands are tied.
I have to fire these people because of the things that I did.
Sick. Let's all right.
That's what he's saying.
Let's see that reflected on the bonus. You know,
it's really sad that I may be the worst Xbox head of Xbox ever, and that I am bad at running my business, and I just spent all this money, and that I have to fire the people so that everybody in the stock room not mad at me. I'm so sad about the mistakes that I made. It hurts to fire them.
I'm sure the bonus this year will reflect that pain. I'm sure it will.
Dude. So like, people have been making fun of this dude all day and all yesterday for this stupid quote, and the one that really stood out to me is people going like, do you remember when they made that Phantom Dust game and then canceled it and then made a fake CG trailer to show it free, and then the team didn't even know about it, and the team didn't even know they were fired until like 4 weeks later, but there were Microsoft executives on the floor telling people how long the game was going to be even though they knew it was canceled? That's a great use of money.
I remember that.
Great use of money.
I remember that. Yeah. So, you know, that's fine. It can always just be as simple as Embracer just sold off Gearbox to Take-Two for $460.
I saw somebody make this statement and they were completely right. If you have any doubt that money isn't real and that everything about money is the fakest thing in the world, Gearbox didn't lose any staff for going to Embracer Group.
Yeah, they did. I know people there.
Did?
I know people that are there right now. And how much
staff did they lose?
I don't know the numbers, but basically people who work there that I've spoken to are watching as a couple people are getting random.
We didn't even cover.
People are, because there's some information currently being obscured about the numbers on that, but essentially people were just kind of getting sniped in a crowd. And were made to pack up and leave suddenly last week at a point. So that did. That did happen?
Do you think that they lost? That those people represented a loss of
$460 million?
Oh no. 1.3 billion. Hold on. Not calculator. Okay, so they bought Gearbox at $1.3 billion, and then they just sold it for $460 million.
So the discrepancy is...
So would those people represent a value of $840 million?
I guess
I don't think so.
Well, you'd also have to include Tiny Tina's Wonderland and... whatever else.
I don't think there's any fucking way that this math works out, man. company lost 75% of its fucking value because you held on to it for 2 years? Fucking Jesus Christ.
Well, the assets sold off include Gearbox Montreal, and Gearbox Quebec, as well as Risk of Rain, Borderlands, and Wonderlands. So
this Embracer Saudi deal is so fucking funny.
The ramifications are fucking.
Like they have lost more money selling these places off and closing them down than they could have even gained from the Saudi deal. Right?
No, and it's all under the same. It's all within the same framework of like acquisitions and just again catamarying it all together. You know, infinite growth, infinite wealth. But just it's gonna be great when it all comes together, and then it doesn't come together, and then the industry is fucking lit on fire as a result. Cool. So yeah, that's going down. I'm sure there will be. A couple people have a couple people at Gearbox did say, "Oh, I got laid off," and publicly we're talking about that. But I'm sure there will be an actual tally within the next couple of weeks on what's going down over there. But word on the street is not great. Anyway, hey, well, the next time Phil Spencer is standing up and saying something like that, you could always run up on stage and knock the trophy out of his hand and break it on the ground. If he's receiving an award for it, perhaps.
Did something happen?
Oh, yeah, no, apparently during a CSGO tournament, or a CS2 tournament, someone ran up on stage and then the security tackled him and it broke the trophy that was on the stage. And while the first person ran up, the second person ran up, and then they that was what caused it to get knocked over. And people are speculating that gambling sites are responsible for the stage rush.
How would they be responsible?
That there's some.
I bet on you and you lost.
Either that. Or what is it, like they're trying to like ruin the event and then run their own next month or something like that?
You know what, man? This marks Counter-Strike.
I don't know.
The premier esport. Because when you're talking about people like losing at the ponies and deciding to go punch a horse, now we're talking sports.
And this
sounds like when you said Counter-Strike, the whole story just kind of went ka-chunk in my mind. Like, oh yeah, that sounds like Counter-Strike.
Right. So yes, I did hear about the Super Bowl streaker actually bet on the streaker happening, because you can bet on that in some places. But here, there was two people that ran up on the stage, so that's a coordinated thing. Like there's a vested interest in the interruption occurring, and I guess run the conspiracy tinfoil hats to see what the reasons are and why. But anyway, the trophy got broke as a result.
Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is the most crooked video game.
At the end of the day, the Ghost of Marvel politely demanded a money match.
That is a willful misrepresentation of what happened.
No property was damaged, merely the ego and
I don't know, man. That's
merely the spirit of celebration for Chris G at the time.
That doesn't sound
he walked up and he held the controller up and he said, "Yeah, you just won. You think you're kind of nice, but now see me though." And he held the controller up. And there was no smashed trophy in the process. So oh god. Anyways, shit is wild. Hey, there's a cool game. Last little bit here. Just if Crazy Taxi is going to shoot itself in the foot before it even exists, then maybe Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom can do the job.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, check it out. It's a yellow little taxi that looks like a cute little micro machine car, and it's driving through a what looks like Sonic style level of
Oh, that looks cute.
checkerboard grass, and you're picking up people and you're dropping them off while you're doing
Man, this is a fucking Sega Saturn game.
crazy stunts, wild shit. Yellow taxi goes vroom.
That looks cool.
Little yellow car doing it. Looks fun. It's coming out this week or so. Yeah, demo available on Steam.
You know what else happened while we were talking?
You're okay. Get in.
Xbox. This is not April Fool's. Xbox put up a store page for Hollow Knight.
I heard Silksong happened,
and it has an ESRB rating of E10.
I heard Silksong something happened while we were talking.
So they sent Silksong to the ESRB to get it rated, which means at least the game still exists.
Yeah, like I said with Titanfall, I don't care until I see a press start screen in front of me. That's quite fine. That's okay. I'm good.
It's gonna come out the day after the Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah. To be fair to myself, though, it's not like I did go back and exhaust everything in Hollow Knight originally to begin with.
Oh, so. No, definitely not. That they did like a whole second, third round of DLC where they're like, "Would you like to fight all the bosses in a boss rush?" And I went, "No, I don't. I don't care about that at all."
So as we talk about Silksong, there's like if you wanted more Hollow Knight, I could have gone and gotten it.
Yeah, but it wasn't the part of Hollow Knight that I liked.
Is that an April Fool's? So then what?
No, it's on the official Xbox page and it's not glamorized and it has a regular ESRB. It's not like coming soon, coming right now or whatever. It's
okay. It's not fan brew grantasy.
No. That's it appears to be real.
Okay. Because there's something called fan brew grantasy, and there's a Guilty Gear comic book. And in it, Asuka is cooking meat. All right, let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send out a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail at gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail at gmail.com.
Right. Here's one coming in. No name. Dear Castle Super Beats, I've been catching up on Willie's backlog and watching the Black Mesa playthrough. During it, he mentioned loving games with reload minigames. Wanted to mention Laika, Aged in Blood, a motorcycle-based Metroidvania.
I played that. It's awesome.
Imagine something like Hollow Knight, except you're on a bike doing jumps and tricks and navigating the level to dodge and deflect bullets while firing back. To reload, you have to do a backflip or a front flip. It's a great game with good sound, sharp, and deep vibes. You might want to check it out when you have a moment. But this just got but this is just got me thinking, like, okay, when it comes to reload mini games, like what are like, is Gears the best?
It is.
That's it, right? Did anyone ever surpass that in any way?
Lycus is cool, but it's hard. It's a little not underutilized. It's a little subdued. It's a little subtle. I really, really like how much longer it takes to reload your gun in Helldivers if you actually let it run dry.
Oh,
it takes like more than twice as long.
It's slower when you're empty.
It's way slower because you have to fix the pull the chamber.
Yeah,
it's like twice as long or more depending on the gun.
Okay.
So like you want to get down to like
when you're flashing
2 bullets to go before you reload it,
and that's why it doesn't tell you how many bullets you have.
That's exactly why.
I was looking at that. Was the most confusing thing about that HUD at first was, why is there no number for the bullets? What is that number? Oh, that's the number of reloads. And yeah, it was just, other games don't do that. Other games show you the bullet number going down, and then you know when to press. Yeah, Gears. The moment I saw that, I was like, that is the fucking sickest shit. I can't believe there's a little fun mini game for reloading.
Neo is incredible. Pretty good about it, but it's not exactly a reload.
No, it's pulse. It's chain pulse, right? Yeah, the slash and then put it together. Like, I mean, if you want to, I would say max acting and X acting is sort of like that a little bit, you know.
Yeah, kinda.
If that's in the category, then that's my favorite. But that's why Gears fucking active reload was also so sick, because the ability to just do it perfectly and stay in the fight is awesome.
You know what? Helldiver's autocannon backpack and recoilless rifle backpacks, where somebody can reload your gun for you as like super fast. I think that's just great.
Yeah, it's a different kind of mini thing. It's more just like efficient team play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. All right. Here's one coming in from Tom Atlas. Says, "Hey, Mind Goblin and Mental Stacker. So I was watching the original Macross series a few years ago, and with some friends of mine, they really loved Macross Frontier. Came together to learn that the venerated titular Macross itself, the giant city scale super ship that could transform into a massive robot, at the time was the biggest transforming mecha ever, is actually, in fact, a giant piece of shit when they first started to fly it. And in the first few episodes, indeed, the majority of the series is dedicated to how jank it is. There's a long list of highlights here as to how busted and shitty and dumb it is. But yes, the actual Macross is a big, like, old style transformer, like looks like almost like a piece of plastic thing that you're like, this is not a dynamic, fast moving robot at all. Given its size, you wouldn't expect. So, what's your favorite piece of shit, barely functioning jalopy ass garbage tech that managed to get the job done enough that you fell in love with it in any way?
Evangelion fucking units trip over their own fucking battery cable.
the plug.
It's fucking so embarrassing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, when Gurren Lagann first tries to combine and just slams the head into the body and it cracks open the top and it looks goofy and dumb as fuck. But then it's just it's the spirit of willpower and you know, that makes it all fucking turn cool. I love that shit. That's great. I would also say, yeah, Metal Gear Rex, like, just becoming more strong as the power of fandom made it become more powerful.
Like, it can barely move, man. Like, it's
dunking on the future iterations of itself. That's insanity. I would also say, I don't know if this fully counts, but there's always been something cool about the Hachiroku in Initial D, the main car that he's driving is just a fucking 86 Toyota Corolla. Like, oh yeah, it's just a fucking car, but like that
drift racing in those areas was built off of using your dad's old economy car,
right? And like by just making it light enough and having the right tweaks and things to it, this car can fucking do the job. You know, and then if the skill of the driver can hook the drain pipe to make it down, this is going to go down in history as like a legendary vehicle. But it's just a fucking piece of shit 86 Corolla. Like, that's all it is. You know, that's always, I love that. It's great. The AE86. Yeah.
What else we got?
All right, let's take one more here. Yeah, so no name. Hello, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master and pint-sized orb ponderer.
Oh man,
listening to the email where the guy explained why companies fire employees, and you guys are talking about the whole incident with Carmack and Facebook owning ideas in his head, reminded me of the history of the blue LED and its inventor. To summarize, LEDs were around for a while before they became a commercial giant due to people being unable to produce a blue LED. Where
apparently it's incredibly difficult.
Red and green were easily done. Everyone knew it'd be an absolute cash cow once discovered, though, so it was a race to find it. Cut to Shuji Nakamura, the oddball engineer at a Japanese company trying to make the discovery himself. After a ton of blood, sweat, and tears, Shuji managed to discover the blue, catapulting the failing company into huge success. His reward for his ingenuity was minuscule share in the invention's profits, so then he left the company for greener pastures, but quickly his piece of shit old boss tried to sue him into the ground for leaving the company, essentially trying to legally force him to return to his old job. Shuji countersued for all the money he deserved from his invention, and in the end, he won the case, but only got enough money to cover the court costs. Today, he's a successful engineer, but it's still infuriating to hear the story of how the company screwed him like this.
I mean,
you had a brilliant idea. You're not allowed to leave.
Hey, gentlemen out there with too much money and shitty taste, enjoying your Cybertruck getting stuck in the mud because it's a complete piece of shit, but it's made in the name of Nikola Tesla, the worst businessman to ever be a scientist, who sold his name and all of his patents for basically nothing.
True, but I would argue, what makes you worse, selling your name and patents for nothing and dying sad and penniless, or fucking cooking an elephant in the town square just to prove a point that guy is a jerk and you can't trust his tech?
Died sad and penniless.
Tesla, apparently.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did.
Or or the guy who's fucking dragging his name through the mud, who's again willing to kill an elephant, and also like slaves.
Oh yeah, Edison was super evil.
So
Edison is like a cartoon American businessman, but he was like a real person.
Anyway, so yeah, you can let the crowd, let the jury decide on that one.
You know who should be living in a big fucking mansion and also probably be still alive? Alexei Pajitnov.
Who dat?
Everything about the creation of Tetris
is
fucked up.
Oh, the Tetris story. Yeah.
Because it was made in the USSR.
At the very least, Tesla's name will live on in the legacy that matters, the cool electric Christmas tree that zaps enemy dogs and soldiers as they rush your base in Red Alert.
That's true. You're right. That is, that's true.
Unit lost.